This is an explicit podcast where we try to keep the conversations as raw and authentic as possible with no intentions of hurting anyone. So if you're very woke, religious, or sensitive, we highly recommend you do not tune in. Yeah, we are rolling. Let's get it, guys.
Let's get it.
Guys, we have Ayez in the house. And we've got Vincent, runs a YouTube channel. Ayez.
Yep.
There's not many people like you in Malaysia, huh?
There's only one me in Malaysia.
How often do you come across someone who is a professional wrestler? I assume it's pretty damn tough, man. Building the whole industry yourself, actually, right? So I actually thought that I checked out APAC Wrestling, and at first I didn't know it was you. So I thought that there's an existing local pro wrestling scene. Was there actually a pro wrestling scene before you started it out?
Nope. So basically, I started pro wrestling in 2014 in Malaysia. We called it Persekutuan Gusti Malaysia back then. But then after a year, we started to get following from Indonesia, from Singapore. So I rebranded to My Pro Wrestling, which is Malaysia Pro Wrestling.
Yes, I saw.
Yeah, so only in 2020 I decided to leave the company and start up APAC Wrestling, mainly because after running my PW, Malaysia Pro Wrestling, for about 7 years, I think. 9 years. 9 years.
Was that your own?
It was my own. I started out on my own. And then 3 years later, I had a business partner who came in. So towards the end of our relationship, we were not seeing eye to eye in the sense of the vision of growing pro wrestling in Malaysia. So because of that, I decided to start APAC Wrestling.
Any okay to share any details?
I think,
or it's all good.
I think it's all good. I'm very supportive of them and what they're doing with pro wrestling in Malaysia.
Are they still in the industry?
They're still in the industry. They are run by younger guys, basically, and helped by guys from Australia as well.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's just a different in vision of how I see pro wrestling growing in Malaysia and how they see pro wrestling growing in Malaysia.
Okay.
Oh, so you mean like the My PW is still running at the same time as APAC?
No, my PW is my PW. APAC is APAC. So it's two separate entities.
Right.
My PW is owned by someone else now, and APAC Wrestling is owned by me.
Oh, because when you said PGM, I remember flashbacks to all the years ago. So I thought My PW just basically evolved to another thing. I don't see anything from My PW much.
They're still there.
So PGM was literally the origins of Malaysian Pro Wrestling.
Yes, correct.
With you.
Yeah.
The one hit Saturday. Let's go back all the way to the beginning, okay?
All right.
You were a fan of wrestling since you were a kid.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
So growing up, I was a huge fan of WWF back then, right? Yes. My elder brother Faisal, he would always, rent out those VHS tapes from those VHS stores back then. So me and my siblings would always watch WWF together growing up, and I actually remember my first match when I was 4 years old.
Your first what?
First match, the match that I watched.
That you're watching?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's very significant.
Yeah. So I was 4 years old, and it was The Undertaker versus Kamala. And
Was this who?
Kamala.
Kamala, I can't remember
Yeah,
Kamala.
he's an old.
It's a bit older, yeah.
Okay.
They call him the Ugandan Giant. So these two guys are like super characters. Undertaker is like the undead, kind of character, undead cowboy. Kamala is like this huge 6'5" Ugandan giant with big belly and face paint and everything.
He's more of a tribal kind of character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you see these kind of characters as a kid, obviously you feel attracted to it.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I've been in love with pro wrestling. So growing up, I've always wanted to be a pro wrestler. I would always play wrestling with my pillows, sometimes with my siblings and my friends.
Yeah.
But then, there's no pro wrestling in Malaysia. There's no industry.
None.
Yeah, whatsoever. I would always go, even when I was 8 years old, internet was already available in Malaysia. So I would always search on Yahoo back then.
Yeah. You gotta wait for the jarring.
Yes, exactly.
But guys, we were lucky enough that they had wrestling on TV, right?
Exactly.
Every week,
Yeah.
So I think that's also the reason why there's actually a community, people who are fans of wrestling. They still pay until now, right, on TV.
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
I remember the first, you speaking of the first match that you watched, there's a big significance because it's like, I'm sure as you watch that, it's like, I've never seen something like this before. Because I remember my first match was actually watching Dudley Boys versus New Age Outlaws dumpster match. And you'd be thinking like, what is this? Why are they fighting to throw inside the dumpsters to win the match?
As a kid, right, you can understand how easily you can get hooked on the WWE series. For example, right, this was later on, right? bra and panties match, right?
Yeah.
I remember watching bra and panties match, and then I started playing it on the PS as well. Super entertaining, and it's just so much drama. But since I was young, I've always loved drama, so I can appreciate that side of it. But did you know, right, when you were younger, because you already knew it was kind of scripted, right? But did you understand like they actually had to take a lot of damage and a lot of punishment to the body at that age when you said you wanted to be a pro wrestler?
Here's the weird thing though, like there's a lot of kids when they watch wrestling, they would believe it's real, but
from young I actually kind of didn't.
exact same thing, yeah. Like when I watched it, even when I was young, I kind of knew like this is what.
But you didn't give a shit.
Show and everything, yeah, because it's entertaining.
It's fucking entertaining, yeah.
That's the best part of pro wrestling is how entertaining it is, right?
Yep.
But when it comes to the physicality, you still don't really know it because you're not experiencing it.
You're a kid.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. When did you come to realize like, oh shit, these like let's say your favorite athletes, right? The ones in WWE, how many days a year are they working? How many shows a year?
As far as I know, like out of 365 days in a year, in the contracts they only have 10 days off.
And that is, I heard that is what kind of after WrestleMania, is it something like that?
I think they can choose their off days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's just 10 days out of 365 days. Most of the time you're on the road wrestling in the ring.
I think the time that you don't want to miss is after WrestleMania. Exactly. You want to work around that season, even if it's post.
Why so? Like after?
Because WrestleMania is like the biggest payday
Yeah.
for the staff, so they would try to include as many people in. That's a chance where you get a lot of exposure, a lot of fans come in.
It's probably
so-
the longest show of the year, is it?
Yeah, especially if you are an underdog, right, who has been performing like quite well, but you don't get the spotlight.
Yeah.
It is around that season that people would cheer for them. So you get a lot of exposure.
Like if you're asking me as a pro wrestler, right? Yes. Like I would never want to take a day off, mainly because it's so competitive there. There's so many pro wrestlers, so many talented guys, so many people who wants the airtime. So you have to always be on your toes in order to be recognized.
How big is the roster in WWE right now?
WWE is huge.
quite big.
It's huge. Like even in training itself, they have hundreds of guys in training who are not debuted yet in the main roster, right? In the main roster itself, each like SmackDown, Raw, they have a lot of wrestlers. The roster is very deep, so it's very competitive. Everybody wants to be on TV, but not everyone gets that.
Yeah, I remember when I was young watching, and of course everyone's parents gonna tell you not to watch it, right? But then you secretly watch it with your brothers, and you practice moves. Who is your favorite wrestler?
Definitely Undertaker.
Undertaker. Hey, I saw that shout out Undertaker gave to you.
Yeah, what was the backstory?
That was crazy, man. Mark Calloway. How did that happen?
Yeah.
I think because like for me myself, I am close to my mentors in the States, right? And these guys are like Booker T, Dr. Tom Pritchett, Kane. So these guys are...
Wait. So now you also have to explain that part. Your mentor is Booker T, Kane. How did that all come about? Okay, for people watching also, they're curious if they don't know. Of course, they know big names like Kane and Booker T, Undertaker, right? Pro wrestling did not exist in Malaysia. How did you build a relationship with those people, or actually reach out to them and start working together?
That's the most difficult part because being from somewhere, let's say Malaysia is a very tiny country, and people in the States, most of them don't even know what Malaysia is or where it is, or can't even
Next to
point it.
Singapore.
Yeah, exactly. Like when everyone asks me where is Malaysia, it's between Singapore and Thailand.
And then they'll wonder, oh, you speak really good English.
Exactly. All the time.
Dude, you're doing the damn thing, man. Really, it's fucking incredible. Yeah, what's up?
I've been reaching out to like some YouTubers from America for collab about last year, and every time when I mention Malaysia, now they know it's because of the MH370.
1MDB as well.
Those things, yeah.
Yeah.
So like
how did you form the relationship or reach out to the...
Very, very difficult. Like you need to be outstanding to be able to get the attention, right? So like for example, the first person that I bonded with was Dr. Tom Pritchett. So
You're talking about in person, not emails, is it?
It started off with emails.
Of course.
So the first person is Dr. Tom Pritchett. Dr. Tom Pritchett is the guy who trained The Rock, Kurt Angle, most of the legends in WWE, Edge, so on and so forth. He even trained the entire McMahon family in pro wrestling.
Dude, he must be what, 80 years old?
I don't know. He's in his 60s now.
60s, okay.
He's in his 60s. So it started out with reaching out to him through emails and everything. He ignored. So for the next 3 years, kept on bugging him like, I need feedback. I want feedback.
Just through emails.
Correct. And finally he responded. Like,
Which year was this?
this was in 2000 and 14, I think.
Have you already done your first event?
We did our shows, our dojo shows and our small shows and everything.
So you would send him footage.
Mhm.
What was your persona back then? Is it the same as right now?
It's a bit different in a sense where now it's more deep. It's more fleshed out, my character. Back then it was, I would say, like only 20% of what I am now, because I'm still new. I was still new in the game and everything. So I needed feedback from guys who were in the industry, who knew what the business is about. Because there's no one else for me to look at in Malaysia, no one else for me to ask for advice and everything. So he reached out back and he gave advice, and then we started creating this mentorship relationship online, where he would always critique on my videos, how to improve, so on and so forth.
But I'm also wondering, like, why would he do so? Because the amount of people interested, there is. I just heard. I was listening to Ric Flair. I think Ric Flair on JRE, right, Joe Rogan, and he mentioned something like every year about 2,000 applicants, but they only take in 100 to train. I mean, in the academy, it's something like that. So why would sorry, what is this guy's name? Your mentor?
Tom Pritchard.
Tom Pritchard. Why would Tom Pritchard take his time? Maybe it had to be something about you.
I would assume it's just persistence. Just like if you have someone, the same guy sending you stuff over and over and over again, eventually he's bound to break and respond like, you know what, you've been sending me stuff, I appreciate it, so here's my feedback.
Damn, dude. Dude, you are... Fuck, man. It's amazing, dude. Amazing persistence. And, okay, so throughout that time when you're consistently reaching out, did you ever have a doubt in your mind that, they would never recognize you?
Definitely. I mean, like, being born and bred in Malaysia, it's very difficult to be recognized by people outside, especially big names like Tom Pritchard and everything.
Yeah.
But the moment I got the feedback from him, that was when I knew that it's not impossible. Like, if I got his attention, it pretty much means that I can get somebody else's attention.
So you reached out through his business email?
Yep, correct.
Just basically what a lot of people have access to, but a lot might not get feedback, get a reply to, right?
And I think most people they try it once, and then people don't respond, and then they get disheartened. He's not gonna respond, so why bother?
So I follow the UFC a lot, right? You hear similar stories, right? This dude who is obsessed with the sport sends out 1 million, emails, and eventually it gets picked up by someone in the management. Hey, why don't you fly out here? We'll see what we can do with you and what type of roles we have for you. So
exactly.
He ended up working in the industry. So your story is very similar, and about this industry, it's like the fan base compared to people in the industry is tiny, right? Because the fan base is huge, but the people in the industry that know the management, that know the business, that know the training, right, is a very selected few.
Exactly.
And you're talking to the top ranks.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question. Why Tom Pritchard specifically?
Mainly because back then I bought his books, so I was reading his stuff, and he has the best way of explaining about how you should be training pro wrestling, so on and so forth. He has the best ideas and best philosophies, and back then that was what I believed, and even till today it proves to hold water, because he still trains guys like Sheamus, like Bray Wyatt, all the big names in WWE. So he knows what he is doing. Basically, he trained the big mans, so pretty sure that he is a heavyweight when it comes to wrestling knowledge.
Did he train Linda as well?
Linda, no. I don't think she ever had any training. Hence why you see her technique is a bit off and she falls and everything.
Who is Linda? A new generation.
Linda
athlete.
is Vince's wife or ex-wife? Is it ex-wife?
Vince McMahon's. I think they're still.
Linda McMahon,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think they're still together.
Oh, I didn't know the Vince's wife wrestled also. I know the daughter.
No, it's not. It's not a wrestler.
Yeah.
It comes to a time where storyline purpose, right? You want to spread out to other people that is related to the storyline, so that it gives more context.
So they appear on the show, but
They
it's the
appear on the
drama
show.
side, not in the ring.
So on
Is
TV
it?
wise, Vince McMahon is a personality.
Yes.
So the daughter and the son is also in the business.
Yes,
So
Shane.
Shane and Stephanie. So you also know the wife as well. So sometimes they'll come up with an angle where it's like the whole family fight against each other.
She gets
Dude.
dragged into the storyline.
Yeah, and then Stone Cold is out there giving stunners to all of them, and then you just want to span the whole thing.
Dude, I look at that as because okay, I remember specifically. Okay, you've got blonde girls with big tits in wrestling as a kid, right? And all sorts of drama is happening. That's like A+ entertainment value, right?
I think back then that was what was needed to push pro wrestling to the mainstream market.
That was
because-
also the era where it did reach the
Exactly,
mainstream.
yeah,
What do
because,
they call that? The Attitude Era.
Attitude Era.
Okay. You guys mind if you give a little breakdown of the eras when it started until now?
So we have the golden era. Golden era is the Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan and Iron Sheik, and after that we have the I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called
The new generation, the Bret Harts.
yes, correct.
Yeah.
New generation, new gen era. We have
Razor
Bret Hart,
Ramon.
Razor Ramon, Diesel, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they moved on to Attitude. We have Austin and The Rock, which are the biggest names during the era.
Yep.
But The Undertaker was at the cornerstone of every era. He
Yeah.
was there since Golden all the way to before he retired.
Yeah, he's probably the longest serving.
40 years, I think.
Yeah.
40 years in
Jesus.
WWE.
Yeah,
And
at least 30 years.
He was the only wrestler who did not, like change companies and so on and so forth. He was with WWE for the whole.
Like right now, what is the current era called?
Now I think it's the reality era, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it has. They try to make it into like an official name, but I think it hasn't quite caught on.
Yeah, but I think it's the reality era.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. You hear this often from pros. They talk about how back then, right? People involved in pro wrestling, they're really tough dudes. If you go up to them and you tell them like what you're doing is fake, they'll fucking punch you in the face,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They'll knock you out. They're those dudes, for one, they don't come from privileged backgrounds, right? They're probably country boys. They come from the kampong, so they're hard dudes. And they comment on today's era. They say that a lot has changed and we are heading to a softer time, right, in the industry. Can you speak on that?
I think this was said by Undertaker, I think.
Yeah.
And it caught on fire like crazy.
He's retired already.
He's retired, but he's still, like mentoring kids and stuff in the
For the company, yeah.
for the company.
So it's kind of a conflicting statement, is it?
I'm not sure, but I think a lot of people mistook what he said in a sense where back then it was different, now it's different. He didn't mean anything that is negative towards the kids these days.
Sure.
What he's saying is that back then this was how it was, now this is how it is. I don't even think he mentioned about it being soft or so on and so forth. It's just how
I listened, I think he did.
in
Ric
the-
Flair as well
in-
talked about
exactly,
it.
in the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
So I think people mistook what he said and they took it to their perspective and take offense by what he had to say.
No, okay, so here's the other side of it. Okay, the rationale for why he said that. Not why he said that, like, so he also mentioned that it is a necessity right now that it's not as hard as it was because you want to grow the industry, you want to get people more involved, all ages. Of course, you have to pay more attention to the safety precautions, trainings, performance also will not be as risky. There's actually been deaths, right?
Exactly.
In WWE. The ones that I can remember is Owen Hart. Apart from that, were there others?
There were others, but they were not really wrestling related, but more like drug abuse.
There's actually one that happened in ring, related to Rey Mysterio. It was in Mexico.
Really?
Oh, in Mexico.
Yeah, in Mexico, and I think it was just unfortunate. Rey Mysterio was about to do his finisher, which is like, have you seen Rey Mysterio finisher?
Of course.
Okay, all right. So he
Yeah.
was supposed to, trip the person to go at the second rope,
Yeah.
but I think unfortunately the wrestler he was fighting with kind of landed on his
Neck,
neck.
I
It's
think
always the
what happened was when I watched the video, my analysis is that when you are wrestling in the ring, you need to be aware at all times of the things coming towards you because on a professional level, everything is spontaneous. It's not choreographed or planned or anything. So when a kick is coming, you have to brace yourself so your neck don't whiplash, right? Sure. So I think what happened was, based on the video that I saw, the guy did not brace for the kick. So his neck kind of like snapped backwards, which caused it to break, basically.
I mean, similar to, let's say, if you're doing any type of combat sports, right, striking, you punch someone, it's usually the punch that you don't see coming that's gonna knock you out, right?
Yeah.
That does the
Exactly.
most damage.
Yeah.
So similar, he probably didn't brace himself. Have you ever tried doing a 619?
Oh, of course.
Can you?
I can.
You can.
Yeah, but there's the thing with being a fan, as growing up as a fan, you try to emulate all your favorite superstars.
But you need a ring to do it though.
Oh, definitely.
Right. So until you got yourself into a ring, weren't able to try a 619.
Yeah, I wasn't able to try.
Have you ever tried like in school compound? You know, sometimes you wait for the school bus to come, then there's like the steel ring, and then you try to do
I've
it.
never tried there.
Never tried there.
But I've played wrestling there, lah, but I've never tried 619.
Bro, you know when you're playing the game or when you're watching, right? You think that Rey Mysterio is tiny. You think the Hurricane is tiny.
Oh,
Right, bro. No, but you
Exactly.
thought that way when you were watching
Yeah,
it. Then you realize, oh shit, it's like NBA. The guys that you think are short, they are 6 feet.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Rey Mysterio, how tall is Rey Mysterio?
He is about 5'4". He's built as 5'8", but his actual height is 5'4". So he's about my.
Oh, dude, okay. Rey Mysterio is small.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he is
about
small,
my.
yeah.
He's about my chin level, but the thing is, he's huge.
Like
He might be my chin level, but he's like
He's wide.
1.5 times wider than I am. So
Yeah.
that's how huge he is.
I saw you wrestle the Hurricane. Hurricane is significantly taller than you.
Yeah, he's 6'2".
Is he?
He's 6'2". Hurricane is 6'2".
Shit.
I think what we don't realize is that we see the top stars like The Rock and Stone Cold,
Those guys are
6'5",
giants.
6'6".
gigantic,
Exactly,
you know,
they're giants.
or Triple H, and then you see the shorter guys, which is usually like Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit. You thought they're like shorter, but when you meet them in real life, it's like wow. they're
So those
tall
are
as
the
well.
average size wrestlers, but they're at least 6 feet, lah. Those guys.
Yeah. I think it's gone that way already. But do you think that today like the wrestlers are getting soft, like all the indie wrestlers?
I would get a lot of heat for this. Heat meaning, like a lot of
Yeah.
negative attention
Got you.
for this.
Yeah.
But in a way, I kind of believe so because I'm a purist when it comes to pro wrestling. Purist meaning I hold true to the old teachings. Because my coaches are Sin Bodhi, Tom Pritchard, Booker T. These guys are old school guys. So I hold on to the old school stuff.
What
So-
are their thoughts on today's generation then? Since you
And
probably
most
hear
of
it.
them about the same thing. Number one is the young guys, they never listen to what the older guys have to say. So like for example, someone will give you advice. Like Booker T would come up to you and say like, dude, I think this doesn't work for you. You have to do this. I think you would look better if you did this, so on and so forth. But most young guys would feel offended when they're given advice like that. But you have to remember that these guys has been there and done that.
Yeah.
They are at the top of the industry.
They've paved the way for
Exactly.
all the other the new people, the new
And
generation.
A lot of indie wrestlers, I'm so sorry to say this, but they are play wrestlers. Play wrestlers meaning they're just there for the sake of becoming a pro wrestler, but they don't really embody what a pro wrestler does. Like
You mean
most
they
of them,
take the minimal amount of punishment?
I would say like for example like once they graduate, they don't even come for training anymore because they feel like, well, I've already learned the basics. Why should I come for training? And then most of them are too lazy to go to the gym and build their muscles and everything. Because pro wrestling, you need to have muscles.
Are they getting smaller, the new athletes?
Oh, they're
Yeah,
they're
because
small now.
not only are they smaller, they are I guess cosmetic wise there's more effort lah, but they are smaller. Yeah, I noticed, a lot of personality.
I think they focus a lot on flips,
Yeah, acrobatic stuff.
acrobatic stuff, rather than
Basically.
strength-driven kind of moves.
And it's not just that. I think a lot of the old school guys, they focus more on emotion and storytelling, but the guys these days they are focused more on doing the impossible or trying to do as many flips as they can in a match or doing the extreme. So these kind of things, the audience they love it just for a short while. Just for that moment they would like, wow. But then they forget about it. But if you wrestle a match and you make them feel certain emotion,
Yeah.
that is when it sticks to them. So this is what you see the difference in the Attitude Era and wrestlers these days.
You know, actually, doing an episode in YCS, I was just talking to a bunch of guys who knows wrestling on a surface level because of The Rock and Stone Cold back then. Actually, a lot of people, when they hear wrestling, they still don't know how wrestling should be enjoyed, which is the storytelling aspect.
But also okay, you're
So you have a lot of flips and stuff like that, right? Or whether bras and panties. Those are things just to bring people into the door of knowing wrestling.
Yeah.
So I always think that people in Malaysia, back then people used to watch like The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H. A lot of them actually haven't watched a 5-star wrestling match before. Because if you think back then, TV3 or Astro, they have those snippets to storytelling. That's where they cut a promo and stuff like that. But a lot of them actually don't subscribe to the pay-per-view. So they don't see the culmination of a match. So say for example, right, if you see like how back then wrestlers, they cut a promo, even today, they don't actually watch the conclusion, which is the best part of wrestling. Then you start a brand new
When you say the
storyline.
conclusion, you mean that's in the pay-per-view?
It's usually in the pay-per-view.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
want you to tune in.
They want you to tune in. So a lot of people actually don't get to enjoy the full aspect of wrestling. They just tune in on wrestling, see people talk, and then they don't really understand actually what are they doing. So they don't see the entirety of it.
Yeah. But okay, so I heard Ric Flair give this analogy. Okay, so let's talk about gunshots, right? You can be in a shootout, right, and witness 1,000 bullets flying everywhere, killing many people, or you can be in a room with someone tied to a chair, and he's got a gun to his head. You're telling the story, showing how emotionally scared she is, what that person may do to his family. In that case where you're extorting that person, right? So that's gonna leave a better mark in your head as compared to a shootout, where 100 people die.
Correct.
Yeah, so he was mentioning something.
It's essentially the same.
When it comes to storytelling, it's not just about the drama. It's not just about the storyline, but it's also about the things that you do in the ring that make people remember you. Like for example, what do people remember Eddie Guerrero with?
Yeah.
Lie, cheat, steal. Right?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero, the
Yeah,
late
yeah,
Eddie Guerrero,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
When we mention Eddie Guerrero, everybody remembers him cheating to win, so on and so forth. So these are the things that you do in the ring.
I don't think he knows that.
What do you
gimmick
say,
of
sorry?
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero. So he,
Yeah, I know Eddie Guerrero.
so a lot of people would associate him with lie, cheat, and steal.
Yeah. Such a fucked up stereotype, right?
In order to win matches. So those are
Yeah,
the
dude,
things
it's
that
so
you do
bad.
in a match to be remembered because it makes you feel certain
Yeah.
emotions.
What was his SmackDown now? I can't remember.
5-star frog splash.
No, that's
No, that's Rob Van Dam.
He's just Frog Splash.
Oh yeah, correct.
Yeah, he
frog
just
splash.
frog
Yeah, yeah,
splash.
yeah.
So
So his signature, if you've not seen how he lie, cheat, and steal, basically it's like when the referee is like distracted, he would take like a steel chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is
Yeah.
like the best things that I think a lot of people love about Eddie. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your connection first, okay? Because now we are kind of like just
Going back
now we're kind of just like going off the top of our tongues and just talking about all the moments, which we're gonna do eventually. But yeah, okay, let's talk about. So you reached out to Tom Preacher, okay? So we'll build from there, right?
So,
So all those shit we'll go into after this.
So years after years of doing pro wrestling, I improved a lot because of his feedback.
And consistently, you've been going back and forth with him,
Yep.
communicating.
And then during the pandemic in 2020,
Damn.
that was when he connected me to Sin Body.
Can I ask, average how many shows were you able to put on?
In Malaysia,
Per year?
not much. Like per year, probably 6 is the best that we can
That's
do.
a lot, bro.
Well, six is tiny as compared to what you do in the States, for example.
But you compare the manpower that you
Oh,
have
yeah,
as compared
exactly,
to those.
yeah.
It's no, really, bro. That's crazy, man. So if you're not throwing your own event, you are wrestling for another organization just to get the
Yes.
reps in, ma. Yeah, stay relevant.
Yeah.
Stay fit.
Build your name as well.
Whereabouts have you wrestled?
Philippines, Singapore, Hong Kong. That is within Southeast Asia.
How's the community over there?
I think a lot of them are very similar to how Malaysia is.
But is it bigger or smaller?
I would say that the people we have different kind of supporters. Like in Malaysia, we have a lot of supporters, but not many of them convert to ticket sales. Like they
Yeah.
support you online like crazy. They share all the videos. Like our Facebook page probably have the best engagement when it comes to our promotion and stuff.
That's damn surprising because if I'm someone who is actually willing to engage with you, right, on social media, and this shit doesn't, I mean, it's not like WWE comes to Malaysia every time or wrestling
Exactly,
promotions come every time, right? I want to go and check out the show because
Yeah.
we are kind of starving for. You're a
Love
fan
for
for a
wrestling.
reason, right? Does Apex get aired on TV, local TV?
It doesn't. Like I've been trying
So that's-
hard to fight for that, but the main logic that I would always get the response from stations and cables is they would say, "Why would we want a regional pro wrestling when we already have WWE?"
That's the problem in Malaysia. When you're small, they don't want to pick you up. They don't want to grow you. They wait until you become big.
Exactly, yeah.
Then only.
I don't think it's a Malaysia thing. I think in general.
In
right?
general, yeah.
That's why.
That's how business works.
That's how business works. If I was them, I might be saying the same thing to you,
Exactly.
right? That's why the road is tough. That's why persistence will prevail.
Yeah.
And not many people will stay till the end.
Definitely.
Beyond
So in Singapore, on the other hand, it's a lot smaller, literally as well.
yeah.
But
naturally. Yes.
the audience are spenders. Like their shows are always sold out. They buy merchandises. Like if I go there, happiest guy alive because my shirts would always sell out, and it's in Singapore dollars.
Maybe monetary wise, they are doing better.
Exactly. Yeah. And then in Philippines, it's crazy in a sense where the volume of people that come to watch your show
Oh, it's the biggest fan base.
a lot more, and there they treat their local wrestling very, very well. Like when I was there, they had a car driving us from TV stations to radio stations, doing media rounds just to promote their wrestling show. That is how big it is in Philippines as well.
In Philippines, would you say that's the biggest in Southeast Asia?
I would
the fan
say-
base.
I would say biggest, number one by population wise, and number two in a sense of how supportive they are of their local products as well.
How many seats do you have per show, like per event?
It
in
depends
Apex?
though on the venue that we do. Smaller venues can fill up to 250 to 300. Bigger venues 600, 800. Depends on the venue.
Shit, man. 600, 800, okay. So the biggest you've done?
The biggest that we've done was way back in 2016. It was at Kenanga Star Expo Center,
Yep.
Bukit Bintang there, and we were able, but that was free entry. We didn't sell tickets, but it was covered by sponsors mainly.
Oh, okay.
So we did a free show there and pulled in about like 6,000 people. to
What
come and
the
watch the show.
Very nice.
Wait, 6,000? Sorry, where was the venue?
Star Expo Center at Kenanga Wholesale City. There.
Okay, but it shows something, you know, like if 6,000 people show up, okay, it also shows that there are a lot of cheap people, right? But yeah, it's good. It's still a good thing.
Exactly,
Yeah, to
yeah.
get the numbers. But yeah, that is surprising, right? Once you say it's free, you know, maybe 10,000 people will show up, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the market audience here is really big. A lot of people really love wrestling here.
Yeah. According to Astro, wrestling is the second
Malay
most
people love
watched
wrestling,
sports.
dude. Yeah, Malay people love wrestling,
Yeah,
dude.
no, it's Malay though. Our shows APAC Wrestling,
Yeah.
mostly Chinese population that comes to watch, and they come in families. You know, like
What?
like they treat it like a family outing kind of thing. Like they will come with you. You can see the
Young
grandma,
kids,
the
right?
grandpa, the small children, the father, mother, the siblings, and everything.
So let's get to this question then. When is potentially the next Apex event?
I'm hoping for it to be either end of June or end of July, mainly because we are moving our studio to Damansara Perdana.
Okay.
So once we set up studio and everything, we are looking to do monthly shows there, lah, basically.
But you say studio, you mean the venue that the event will be held?
Yeah,
lah?
like I'll be renting out the space and I'll set it up as a pro wrestling studio. So
Okay.
we can just do our shows there as well as train there.
Oh, bro, did you say it's in Damansara?
Damansara Perdana.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty convenient area as well.
Very convenient. You'll see me and Vincent there. Yeah, for the
That'd be
next
awesome.
show. So why? There's definitely more Malay fans. But why are the Chinese people showing up?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no fucking idea.
I think most likely because, like I said, they probably treat it like a family outing kind of thing. Like they don't have anything better to do on Sundays.
Now I need to ask
or
how.
Saturdays.
I'm sorry, yeah, but now I need to ask how much are the tickets?
The regional shows, regional meaning just Malaysian, Singapore, Philippines, we charge about 40 to 60 ringgit.
That's very reasonable, bro.
Yeah, but the shows with former WWE names, like December we did one with Tajiri.
Yeah.
That one we charge about 150 per ticket.
Have to, bro.
You have to because
Right.
their cost itself is.
Yeah, of course, man. Why would they fly all the way over here?
Exactly.
There's plenty of organizations in other countries. Or in China, how is the scene?
Oh, China is quite huge as well, population wise, support wise.
Yeah,
very-
it's been, I think, since last Japan, is it? Japan was when it was first popular in the
Japan
early
is
on.
the biggest in Asia, actually, the biggest
Yeah.
company in Asia.
Even
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah, like every year they do this show called Wrestle Kingdom at the Tokyo Dome. So they usually fill out a stadium of about like 60,000 capacity from people worldwide coming out to watch.
Well, hey, 6,000, 60,000. I see that as a possibility.
Probably 30 years time. I don't know. Like I'll try my best to work towards that. but
You are the pioneer
it will eventually happen.
in this industry in Malaysia. You'll probably be here for a long time
Hopefully.
in the industry.
Touch wood.
You've actually met Tom Preacher?
Yes, I have.
Where was the first time?
So last year, what happened?
Oh,
was-
last year only.
Yeah, Booker T called me to be part of his Reality of Wrestling, right? So I was there in Houston, Texas to shoot 6 episodes.
Tell me the build up to that.
Alright, cool. So during the pandemic, Tom Pritchard introduced me to Sin Bodhi. He is one of the guest coaches of WWE and also a legend himself.
Saint Bodhi?
Sin Bodhi.
Sin Bodhi.
Yeah. So Sin Bodhi has been mentoring me online as well a lot of times, so on and so forth. And then he introduced me to Booker T. So he showed my match to Booker T, and he was so impressed because he said that I understood what pro wrestling is actually about, and I have what most young guys don't have, which is the thing that I just mentioned, which is playing with the emotions of the audience rather than doing moves,
Don't you
so
think?
on and so forth.
Don't you think it's so surprising that now they are more advanced, as in they have an academy and they have a lot of people they're training, but some dude from Malaysia can impress, someone who's also a pioneer in mentoring and all.
Even they were surprised as well because
Right.
they are so surprised, like, how on earth am I able to reach to this level within 6 years when they train guys for 15 years and they still are unable to get it.
I feel like it's more surprising how come those people that are training through the academy, going through the proper route, right, are not able to pick it up, because maybe it's something to do with, like, they take it for granted, they have it there, they think that their route to being in the showbiz is already there. Maybe that's why they lack some of the other qualities.
I'm not sure myself. I don't dare to pinpoint exactly
Yeah.
because these guys are my mentors as well. But they commented the same thing on how surprised they are of how I'm able to train the APAC roster to be as good as they are in such short amount of time.
That's because you train them, and
I think there's always something that comes out of when you have scarcity. Like you see, like Muay Thai people, like from Thailand, they train with under equipped gyms and stuff like that.
yeah.
But they ended up to be like even much more tougher and much more better.
Uh,
So I think one thing that's probably like help you. I'm just guessing. You can let me know whether it's true or not. It's probably because you are starting something in Malaysia like from scratch where nobody's doing. So you have to figure out and fill in the blanks yourself. That eventually helps you in your performance. I remember when I was watching your reality of wrestling, it's like you're just so complete, the package, in terms of like your outfit, your mannerisms, your facial expressions, the way you look into the camera and pose, all those kind of stuff. I just felt that it's like you don't just get this just by training itself, but being involved in other aspect of wrestling. Probably.
I could probably also credit myself in a sense where because I'm also an action director in Malaysia. So I'm very good at directing people to get what I want, most likely. So I think when I train my kids, I'm very specific on how they can improve and what they need to do.
when you say your kids, do you mean your students or
My
your
students.
your kids are pretty young.
Yeah, my kids are still too tiny. And but I think the best part is I kind of enforce what I teach because in the States, they have this culture now where they cannot force you to, like follow.
Yeah. Very
a lot of
It's a soft
Americans, like-
generation.
Like everyone, art is subjective. Like everyone has their own way to interpret pro wrestling.
Correct.
But with me, when Preacher tells me something, I would do exactly what he says. Booker T tells me something, I'll do exactly what he says.
But also because you grew up reading their teachings and all, you've read their philosophies.
Yeah.
So you kind of share the same ones. Yeah. So how was the build up to you getting an opportunity to wrestle at Booker T's?
So
promotion.
in 2020, after he watched my match, he was so impressed. He set up a Zoom call with me.
That was a local APAC show, was it?
That was back then when I was still with my PW. When I
Okay.
was still doing my PW shows.
Yep.
So he was so impressed with my abilities in the ring. He set up a Zoom call with me, and we went through the match together. And he was telling me like exactly what he liked about the match and everything.
So that's your first time talking to Booker T.
Actually, second. Like the first time I met him, I won a contest run by TV3. He came down to Malaysia. I won a contest where I had lunch with him.
What year was that?
That was in 2013.
He definitely remembers.
He remembers. He was the one who told me, like, if you want to start pro wrestling, you have to be the guy to actually start pro wrestling. Because if you keep on waiting, it's not gonna happen.
Dude, oh my god. No, really, it's so... And you are that guy, man. So, tell me about that lunch that you had with him. Because that's your first time actually meeting one of your heroes, right?
Yeah.
Your first time, and you had a lunch with him. So how did that go?
It was cool. I was 25 years old back then. So we had lunch with a bunch of winners, basically. It wasn't a
It's
lunch
not
table.
one-on-one.
Yeah, but I sat next to him though. So like I asked him, I said like I really want to be a pro wrestler, but there's no pro wrestling in Malaysia. So what should I do? So that was when he gave me the advice. You know what, you have to take the leap. You have to start it on your own because if you don't, it's never gonna happen.
He's very direct with you, man. Yeah, and
So I took his advice and I actually started my PW back then.
so let's say if you did not receive that advice, 2 to 3 years later, would you have started?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It's like I always had doubt myself. Like, why should I try something
Dude,
that is
the doubt
not
is
possible?
Is infinite. The
Exactly.
doubt is infinite.
Yeah.
Like, you first of all, right? If no one else has done it, what makes you think I can do it?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you start it though? Did you like first thing you think about like getting investors, or do you learn to build your own ring, or how did it?
It
start?
was everything was very DIY. To be honest, I just set it up on my own, and started teaching stunts because I would
Started what?
teaching stunts.
Yeah,
because I would imagine that pro wrestling is the same as stunts. We are actually stuntmen in the ring, right?
It is.
So what I did was I watched matches and I paused and played it very slowly, and I did breakdown on the techniques and everything. So I created my own way of how to, like do the moves and everything. So
Yeah.
I started teaching it to my kids, and then we slowly grew from just 4 students. The next year I had 11, 15, 20. So we grew and grew and grew.
Can I ask how big is your team right now? Like, let's say the students, the wrestlers.
Okay, so we grew the peak. The highest we had was back in 2019 before the pandemic. So back then we had over close to 40 guys in total. But after the pandemic, everyone just their dreams just died down with the pandemic.
Yeah, because it's went on hold. A lot of things.
Exactly. And then at the same time, wrestling is not easy. It's tough because in Malaysia there's no industry. Most of the time when you wrestle, you get paid peanuts because
of course.
we don't have any money in the industry.
Yep.
And at the same time, it's also practical for them to try and entertain audience on a live level and everything. So it's very difficult. The risk to ratio, the pain that you have to go through, the investment that you have to put in your costume, in the gym and everything, is not worth it. So a lot of people would drop out.
So when Vincent was asking like how was it like to start out and all, I would assume that doing the moves, the stunts, practicing, that is the easy part because you love that shit, right? You obsess. The hard part was putting on the event. Is that true?
The hard part is keeping the gym running.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
The moves part, the part in the ring.
it was fun. Like
It's
we
fun.
enjoyed it.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
We enjoyed it. But I think it was most difficult in a sense where I had a gym that I had to pay rent for, the ring and everything.
Yeah.
And then I had only 4 students. For the whole first year, only 4 students, and they were only paying 60 ringgit per month.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to charge much because it's...
Correct. It's a start.
Yeah, it's a start.
Where do you get this ring?
We built it. I built it, basically. Yeah.
How much did it cost?
Back then, it was 13,000. 13,000.
Okay, it's not a cheap ring.
But now, if you want to build one, it costs up to about 32,000.
Is that the Korean ring that you guys would use when
Yes.
you move to Perdana?
Correct. Yeah. So it's getting more expensive. I don't know why. Probably cost of living is
It's
going up
just
as
inflation
well.
now.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
so seems like a very noob question, but then when you want to move the ring around, you just break it down.
Yes,
put it out.
it's just a bunch of us. We'll break everything down, load it in the truck, then set it up. And then once the show is done, we would tear everything down again, set it up again.
So let's go.
How did you survive though? Like running the first year with just 4 students.
No, it was crazy. Being in the film industry, I'm blessed in a sense where I can take up a lot of projects, but I was overworking myself. Like at once, I even took 7 projects at one time, just so I could
When
pay
you
the
say-
bills for my own self and pay
Yeah.
the bills for the gym. So it was crazy.
When you say film industry, right? Producing, is it? Editing.
Mostly action directing, but for freelance stuff,
Choreography stuff, is it?
yeah, for
Okay.
freelance mostly I do script writing, editing, script editing, so on and so forth.
It's funny how you also have another career in that, but we're all interested in the wrestling part only. Yeah,
It's-
do you still do some of that? You do, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what I mean, if we're gonna go into film for a while, how's your how did you get the idea to come out with Gila Gusti then?
Oh, Gila Gusti was just an effort to introduce APAC Wrestling to the mainstream audience, and at the same time, just introduce pro wrestling to the mainstream audience.
Is it a movie or a short film?
It's a film. It came out in cinemas last year during March, I think.
And you were the star.
I wrote a script, I directed, I acted,
Yeah, basically did
edited
everything.
the whole package. So it was
basically there's a whole Jackie Chan thing going on.
it was shown in Malaysia, Singapore, basically, and Brunei.
This is just for my knowledge lah. So how big of a team did you have?
It was quite big actually because to produce a film that comes out to cinema, they have a specific QC that you need to follow.
Oh, you okay? That's the reason why
Yes.
you had to have that big of a team. Okay.
Yeah, so we still had to hire professional team and cameras and everything because we didn't want to fail the QC and not be able to release the movie.
So let's go back to your second meeting with Booker T, right? Did you keep in contact throughout those years, or actually no?
I know that was the first time I re-met him again. So
So what was his reaction? I was like,
I-
oh, you're here.
I reminded him because like obviously he didn't remember how I look like and everything.
He's met so many people. Dude.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot of, I'm sure, got a lot of Malaysian kids also.
Yeah. So I reminded him, and then I showed him a photo, and then he started tearing up, and he had goosebumps
Are you serious?
because
What?
he remembered the advice that he gave, and he felt
Oh my god! Holy fucking shit!
he felt emotional mainly because I actually followed his advice, and then 9 years later I was able to build something out of nothing. So he felt like he played a very important role in building
Dude,
out
that,
of scratch.
that reaction you're telling me now, right, is exactly what I expect from anyone who is passionate about
Yeah,
what they're
definitely.
doing for years and years and decades. You have to have that sort of reaction. I mean, unless he gets it so often, like kids starting a promotion from somewhere and all the time. I don't think it happens that often.
I think Booker T is like just one of the nicest guys. Yeah, he's like super.
lot of them
He's very very stern if you see him working backstage and everything, but he's very nice.
He's very nice. I can tell that like his personality is really very easy to connect. You know, it's like he'll tell you things, no fluff.
Yeah, but he's one of the guys who always get hated on because he shared his honest opinion.
Yeah.
But the reason why he's sharing this stuff is because he wants these
He
guys to
cares about
improve.
the community.
Exactly.
His
But
intention is really good.
yeah, but these wrestlers, they would always take to offense every time when the legendary guys try to give them advice. Like Bret Hart always get hated on.
Oh yeah.
Undertaker, Ric Flair, Booker T. Whenever these guys share, like
Why do you
Wisdom.
think they can't take it? Why do you think the fans they just can't accept it?
not just fans, I think the wrestlers
The
themselves.
red
I
young
think
wrestlers.
that people can be a bit too defensive. Like I think we are blessed to be Asians. Like, Asians are very yes cikgu, yes cikgu.
Yeah.
We can be very nice and kind and tolerable, respectful of those who are more experienced and so on and so forth. So we have that culture where whatever is taught to us, we would follow it if it benefits us lah, basically. But these guys, when someone says like, "Oh look, I think you need to do this," who are you to tell me what to do? I'm already here.
Also, we are the industry is an egocentric industry,
Yeah.
right? So you're
It
gonna
is.
have people thinking that we are.
Actually, if you see like those reality shows are right, American reality shows and Australian TV shows, reality shows and Asian, completely different mindsets.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't directly relate, but let's say Love Island. Right?
Yeah.
So Love Island is the American version really big. So the other side of it, we've got Singles Inferno. You know what that is?
I know, but I've never watched it.
So it's basically Korean cast instead of an American
Oh,
cast.
okay, understand.
So American cast, they're probably more visual. They're making out, they're touchy, a lot of flirting. Singles Inferno, on the other hand, is more conservative, more toned down flirting, stuff like that. But the Malaysian people love it because we are also a bit more conservative. So
We
it's
can
just
relate
difference
to
in
it.
cultures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Bro, let's go back to the second meeting with Booker T.
So
Dude, that's really an amazing moment, and I love moments like that, man.
yeah, like I believe it was kind of full circle as well. Like he was the one who wanted me to start, and then he is the one that brought me to the States. So it was kind of a full circle kind of moment in a sense.
I almost wish you could show me that exact moment. So you reminded him, right, of it, and it probably took him a while to like put the pieces together, and then once he realized, he couldn't believe it. Is it that it's you?
Yeah, I look so different. Like back then, I was a lot skinnier than I was and everything. So he was like, "Dude, you grown up. Like, so what happened to you?" It's like,
Do you have a
I
beard?
took your advice. No, I didn't. I was clean shaven and everything. I was wearing glasses. I was just a kid wanting to be a pro wrestler.
In the meetup, do you guys also share like the moment where you guys, because he's trying to build his ROW, right? So do you guys like connected and bonded over the fact that you guys have to run the business side of wrestling?
No, definitely. And
How long has ROW been going on?
RW has been around for quite some time now. He actually bought over a company that was dying, so he kind of
Which is, did he rebrand the name?
he
or-
rebranded the names. He rebranded the name and the entire venue and everything to become RW basically. So he invited me to come over, but it was 2 years of trying to apply for visa.
Yeah,
Get
America's
to-
a bitch when it comes to the visa.
Exactly. So finally, last year, 2022, I was able to get visa. I was able to fly there and shot 6 episodes. So while I was there,
Shot 6 episodes, I mean 6
six
events.
episodes. Yeah.
I watched Are they all on YouTube?
I know. I think they only put 2 matches on YouTube. The rest was on TV.
Not pay per view, but it's TV.
It was ROW is on their national TV called the CW channel.
Yeah.
So I was actually one of the only Malaysian figure to be on their mainstream TV there.
Last time when he met you in 2013, did you have this?
No, I was very lean because I came from a Muay Thai background, right? So I was very lean, skinny, but had a bit of definition here and there, but definitely no.
The size, no.
No size.
How many kgs difference was that?
I think back then I was only about like 58 kilos.
Yeah, now you're about 75.
75 is my good weight. Now because I'm cutting, I'm about like 68.
Okay. The injury, let's talk about the injury.
There. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that come about, man? Sorry, I don't know how it came about.
I have a lot of injuries from being a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Like one of the most famous ones is my knees, because my left knee dislocated, and then throughout my career during matches it dislocated during matches for about like 13 times. After
What?
13 times of my knees being dislocated during a match.
But when you say during a match, you mean 13 times, like all different matches?
All different matches. So like it will pop out and I will pop in back and I continue the match, finish it. Then
Is it called?
everything.
Are you talking about? Is it called an ACL tear?
I know it's a knee
No.
dislocation.
Okay, so what happens when you dislocate it during a show?
Hurts like hell.
Yeah, but you carry on,
Yeah, I would always pop it back itself, and then I would
like
continue
on the
match.
show.
Yeah,
Immediately you pop it back.
yeah. So in pro wrestling, there's always a safe word that we have between wrestlers,
Yeah,
referee,
to
and
tell them
everything.
shit's going down.
Yeah, so I would always tell the referee. I would always give him the safe word. So my opponent will always know what to do to buy time, pop it back in. The referee will check
By
on me.
time, like you guys don't actually take a pause.
No, we can't because we have to carry on with the match.
You have to keep the audience entertained.
Yeah. So if you cannot continue the match, usually we have to go home. Go home is a term where we just finish it there and then. Like we don't do anything anymore, and we don't do anything else.
Do a finisher.
Yeah. But I'm the kind of guy who would always like to finish the story. So I would always like give me some time, pop it back in, try to get up. Okay, I'm good. All right, let's go. So we finish the match. So usually after the match, then I go to the hospital because we need to drain out the fluid. When it pops out, all the fluid all rushes to the knee, so it starts to get swollen like crazy. So we drain out the fluid, then I would nurse myself back.
Is it a specific move that you do that every time it happens?
It mainly has to do with twisting of the leg, because like when you twist your leg, there is less support of the cartilage holding the
And I'm
the
sure
kneecap.
you are also aware of it, so it's actually very fragile already at this point.
Yeah. So now I know exactly how to move to avoid it from popping out. But it's very easy. Like I can just pop out on my own now without.
Wow.
But is it gonna hurt?
Well, yeah. So I know exactly how to move to avoid from it popping, but it has also limited my ability in the ring. Like there's a lot of things that I don't do anymore. I used to do all this high fly moves and everything. I used to do hardcore stuff, but not anymore because I have to, like increase my longevity.
What would you say is like your wrestling style?
I used to be a high flyer striker, but now more to technical striker. So like if I could
High flyer striker means you're on the ropes. I mean, sorry, on the, what do you call that? The turnbuckle.
high flyer striker would be someone like Rob Van Dam. Yeah. So now I'm more of a Chris Benoit or Eddie Guerrero kind of wrestler. I'm very technical. I do all sorts of suplexes and everything, takedowns and everything. And at the same time, I also do a lot of strikes.
So, suplexes, those are less risky as compared to jumping shit from the turnbuckle.
It all depends though, because like for example, my knees, they need to be grounded most of the time. So when I'm on air or when I'm at the ropes, that's when they're most fragile. So that's the reason why I try to stay away from rope moves.
When you say when you're on ropes, right, you mean like, because when you're on ropes, you're not exactly fully grounded, your feet are
Yes.
just partially. So that's when it's easy for it to pop out.
Yeah, and the ropes that we step on is steel cables, right? So the tension is always like shaking.
Of
So,
course.
Yeah, so even when you stand on it, it's not really fully supported. So your knee joints are not really
Yeah,
intact
no,
at
I
that point.
understand.
Yeah.
So throughout it was that show in Texas when you did ROW? Yeah. How's the whole experience?
That was amazing. I think
How long did you spend?
I was there for about 3 weeks because
3
I
weeks.
went to Knoxville, Tennessee first.
Yeah.
I was teaching wrestling at Tom Pritchard School. So he invited me over.
To teach.
Yeah.
Wow, full circle.
Tom Pritchard is he owns a school with Kane called Jacobs Pritchard Wrestling Academy, JPWA. So Kane is now the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. And Kane
is a mayor.
is a mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, and
Pretty crazy.
he owns an academy with Tom Pritchard. So it's a joint academy.
Yeah.
So they got me there to teach the kids.
Your first time meeting Kane, or?
Yeah. Mayor Kane.
How
That was
good?
a-
How good? How sorry? How tall is Kane?
Mayor Glenn Jacobs.
Glenn Jacobs is his real name.
I'm about, if I were to stand next to him, I'm about beneath his rib cage.
Wow.
He's what, 6'8"?
He's
Right, 6'8"
he's
or-
6'11", I think. He's almost 7.
Jesus,
He's almost with shoes. He's 7'1".
dude. It's very hard to imagine.
He's huge. It's like yeah, he's
Only
huge.
the door.
Oh
Yeah,
fuck!
about that.
Yeah.
When did Kane first unmask? The very end.
I think
of
it's
his...
2003. It was 2003.
Early 2000s.
Oh, it's not towards the end of his.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
early 2000s.
So he invited you. How was the experience teaching those people at the academy? Because, you know, they're wondering how come this Malaysian guy is over here.
It was
teaching?
cool because I think his students are very respectful bunch. Like because of who he is.
Yeah,
so
he's
they
very respectful as
trust
well.
his judgment of who's teaching. So I was called in to teach them psychology. Psychology is basically the art of evoking emotions from the audience, right?
The most important part of
Yeah.
showbiz.
So I was teaching them that, and they were very open, and then it was very fun because like it was their first time meeting a Malaysian, most of them, and they were very respectful and they were very curious as well because
Why you
like,
could speak English?
that was one of it.
Yeah.
And also they were very curious on how I was able to improve without like actual coaches.
You have
here in
nothing,
Malaysia.
bro. You had no
Exactly.
foundation, no support. Everything is self-built.
Wait, what's the perception when you meet all these people? What's their current perception of what a Malaysian should be?
Dude, if they know it's a Muslim country, then they probably got very racist, stereotypical thoughts, right?
Back then, probably 10 years ago, I still hear like, whenever people talk about Malaysia, we are the people who still live in the trees. But is it still the same thing?
Yeah, I think
This is
so.
the
I think
same
they
thing.
still think that way.
When I
like-
spoke to them, most of them don't even know what Malaysia is. Like they don't even know the country's name. They don't even know which part of
then you
Asia
say
it is.
Indonesia and Singapore.
Exactly. Then they would know because and those countries are more established in the mainstream media. Right?
We need another MH370.
No, we don't need that. We don't need that.
And another thing is that the Malay race, right? Kaum Melayu ni, like they don't even know what am I, like what are you?
Yeah.
True,
Because
true,
like
true.
Malaysian, are you Asian? Are you supposed to be like, are you Indian? No. Are you Chinese? No. Are you Filipino? Are you Vietnamese? Like they can't pinpoint my race.
But also, right, all these, let's say you're a Westerner, right? You go to Singapore, and then they'll be shocked also because they see a lot of different colors. Right?
Yeah.
They don't expect that. They probably think Singapore people are like yellow skin,
Mostly
just
Chinese.
Asians.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that in Malaysia as well.
Exactly.
Or if you tell them Indonesian, then I think they'll get a sense of.
Get a sense of what we are.
Yeah.
So sad.
Okay, so let's talk about the shows you did, ROW. So you did 6 shows. I'm just very curious, right? Because let's say you perform a match. A match can go from 5 to 20 minutes long, right? Average is about 10 minutes. Is it per match?
It depends.
Less than
So
that,
because RW is on TV, right? TV is very tight slot because they have specific airtime to adhere to. So most of the matches were less than 10 minutes. Like mine was, the first match was 5 minutes, second match was 8 minutes. So when you are on a level where you're supposed to be filming for TV, as a pro wrestler, the first thing that you need to be aware of is your timing. Because if you overshoot
Yeah.
your time, the company loses hundreds of thousands because
Yes,
they need
yes.
to pay compensation for the airtime to the
Yeah,
to the
and the advertisements have to be slotted in.
yeah. So when this happens, not to me because I'm very spot on with my time, but I saw it happen with another group of wrestlers. I had this with another group of wrestlers where they overshot their time. He went crazy on them. It's like, do you have any idea? Yeah, like you do have any idea how much I've lost because of your carelessness? Like as a pro wrestler, when it comes, a lot of people think it's just the wrestling aspect, but when you are on a TV level, it's a lot bigger. You need to be aware of the camera. You need to be aware of your positioning. You
It's a whole
cannot be
different ball
facing
game.
down. Exactly. Like there's so many things that you must consider in your head while you are performing the match.
I think it will be quite surprising to a lot of wrestlers. I mean, like I know I'm being ignorant as somebody who's just a fan saying this, but you go from being a wrestler to all of a sudden being a media personality and performing in front of the camera. So you got to work for the audience.
You're an actor also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you need to know camera positioning and everything. It's very important.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a when you think about wrestling itself, right? It's actually a mixture of jobs, like, right? You're an actor,
is.
you're a stuntman. Yeah.
That's why a lot of wrestlers like they are able to go to the TV or the movies because they kind of know how it works, really,
Yeah.
like production.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very very easy transition from
Yeah.
pro wrestling to acting.
And fortunately enough, you also came from what videography?
Oh, from
right?
film background.
Yeah, film
Exactly.
background. So, so I wanted to ask her, like, let's say you're doing a match 5 to 10 minutes long, right? How is the preparation process? Like, how detailed are the scripts? How much time do you spend in the ring, sparring?
Yeah, so basically, on a professional level, what I would do is I would just verbally share ideas with my opponents. I would say like, you know what,
Who is there when you're like, is Booker T there?
he has appointed producers. So producers are people who are in charge of making sure the match is on time, making sure that the story is being told.
Oh, so Booker T actually doesn't, but of course the producers will bring it to Booker T and summarize.
Yeah, so Booker T will be the one who tells all the producers what he wants for each matches.
Yep.
So these guys will oversee all the individual matches and make sure that. So he sees the bigger picture. He sees the whole show as it is, and these guys take care of the match individually.
Okay. So when you are discussing with your opponent how you want the match to play out, right? The winner, who decides that?
So it's basically scripted by
Yeah.
the promotion and on who they believe they should.
So
push.
this one is the man on top lah.
Yeah.
That decides. Okay.
Correct, like Booker T, for
Which is the
example.
most important what do you call that? The result lah is the very
Yes.
most important, right?
Exactly, but not really though. As a pro wrestler, I think
So,
what
sorry,
is-
I mean for the not
the guys
wrestler.
on top. Yeah. Like for us, most like we understand that we are actors and we need to get the story forward. Those who don't understand this is when you see they get released by the company.
They like the details.
Yeah, like a lot of wrestlers, they have this ego in them. Like, why should I lose? Why should I lose? I've been losing for a long time. Da, 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 da. That does not work in pro wrestling. If you have that ego with you, you're gonna get kicked from the company because that's not how pro wrestling works.
So
What do you think about like back then Triple H would like, if he's handed down the script that says he's not in a favorable position, he would tear the script. Like, what do you think about like
is that
wrestling?
real? Is that real?
I have no idea if
the
it's real or
stories?
not, but it's rumors spread out by people. But I would say that if you're a certain name like The Rock, Triple H, Austin, if you bring in money to the company,
You have some negotiating power.
exactly, you have say. But let's say if you're this guy just starting out in the industry and then you've been in the industry for maybe 10 years, but you still don't draw money, you still don't sell tickets, sell merchandise, you're just there. And you start demanding for you know what, I've been in the company for so long, now I need to get pushed, I need to be a champion.
Yeah.
So these kind of guys usually get kicked because
That's true.
You're not
that is
contributing.
that is not how the business
He's
is.
not being a team player as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can compare to Conor McGregor, right? So Conor McGregor is mega superstar in
Exactly.
in UFC, MMA. The biggest, you could say, his what do you call that? His magnitude, right, is similar to something like Muhammad Ali back then. Yeah. So he has a very big he has a lot of negotiating power. For example, he can very well pick who he wants to fight,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
It's like maybe that's why The Rock can pick this. Are they able to pick their opponents and all?
They're able to influence the writers on
okay.
on what they want or the direction of the character. So on.
There's this I remember I heard said that Dana White, who is the UFC president, he said that Vince McMahon once told him that he will never invest in mixed martial arts or any combat sports because he cannot choose the narrative. He cannot predict the outcome, right? So of course, from Vince's perspective, is you can predict the outcome, then you will know where the show's gonna go. But it's all different, right? It's actually very different also.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you are preparing, right, you do your moves, right? Your moves, they don't tell you what to do, or
It depends though. Like for example, when I was in ROW, Booker T trusted me 100%. So I was producing my own matches. Like he would tell the guys who had to wrestle me, Like whatever Shaukat says, you go with him because he knows what he's
But
doing.
How long did you talk to Booker T to build that type of trust, or was it just a Zoom call you flew over and then?
I think it was mainly from what he sees in my matches.
I think it's a body of work as well.
Yeah, like because he's seen a lot of my matches, and from there he's seen consistently that I'm able to send a story across in such short amount of time. So like, imagine if you're given 5 minutes, but you have a story to tell. So it's that's the most difficult part for a performer. You know, like you got 5 minutes, but you need to tell a story. How do I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the nuances that you have, you know, it's like quite visible. I'm pretty sure like somebody like Booker T is able to see different wrestlers and see whether just in the ring for 5 minutes or maybe even 1 minute can see whether this person can do it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think the hardcore Shaukat fans, right? They're probably thinking like, why are you asking such a stupid question? Obviously because he's got talent lah. So Booker T is, I've only checked out 2 or 3 of your matches actually. Yeah, so I haven't watched.
That's
in
the
detail.
problem though with being given such responsibility from the boss, is you get a lot of heat backstage. Like a lot of people would look at you
The
sideways.
politics,
Exactly. Like who is this guy? He's just here, and you know.
yeah,
like,
this dude come in trying to take our spot.
exactly.
You have that heat immediately.
Definitely. Like, the first day,
Everywhere you
the
go,
first
bro.
day I arrived, I was called into his office, his personal private office, in which
is dude.
one of them told me like none of them ever gets to be in his office. Like how the hell is who is this guy? He just came and you know like he got hugged and Booker T brought him to the room and everything. And then the next day they found out like this guy is going to be producing his matches with us. Who's this guy? And then they find out that this guy is going to beat all of us.
Let me ask you, dude. I watched your match, right? I was surprised that you won both of them. Let me ask you, were any of the wrestlers smaller than you?
I think both of them physically they were smaller. Like they were
they
were
were.
less muscular than I was.
Okay.
Musculature wise.
But
Height wise,
the Americans are big.
yeah,
dudes.
they're naturally taller than I am.
Yeah, they are. So that's also probably some of their ego telling them like, why is this dude coming in here? You know, trying to take our spot.
But when I have matches with them, if you watch my matches with them, I make sure that I allow them to do more stuff to me than I do to them, because I want them to look good as well. So that's the upside of being a nice Asian guy. You know, like instead of like, you know what, I'll just destroy you in this match.
But your selling is nice. It's
Oh,
really
thank
nice.
you. Like I do believe that in order for the match to work and make sense, is you need to make sure that whoever you're fighting is a credible threat. So if
Of course.
this power was given to another pro wrestler who is less mature than like I am, they would just say like, you know what, just escape to the ring, I'll destroy you, and then you'll just lose in 5 minutes. But for me, I was like, you know what, do whatever you want to me, I'll just keep on selling for you, blah blah blah, blah. And in the end, I'll do this. So that's what we did basically.
How many percent of what you guys do on show night, right, in the ring, is rehearsed in sparring? Talking about the stunts.
When it comes, when you are having a match with me, I want it to be whatever we talk is just 10% of what is going to happen in the ring, because
It's different every wrestler has a different style.
a lot of new generation wrestlers, new generation meaning 2000 and above.
2000 is already new generation.
Yeah, they like to plan the match from not even 50, like 90%. From the start to the end, like this is what we're gonna do. Okay, then we do this, and then they actually rehearse the movement backstage and everything. Like for me, I'll just verbally tell you like what I wanna do. This is a story that I'm gonna tell. Okay, then I go and warm up.
But bro, that's the thing, right? If you are a big corporation, right, like WWE, someone like you is very hard to find first of all. So that's also the reason why they prefer to go with a like 90% rehearsed script, because a lot of fuck ups can happen. They minimize the fuck ups.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what we believe. Like me, Booker T, and everything.
If you can perform, that's all that matters, right?
Exactly.
But not many people can do that.
Exactly. Not many people can keep up with what we can do, and I think it's very important.
The keeping up part, that's the most important, because that guy doesn't have your mind. Your
Exactly.
opponent doesn't have your mind.
And a lot of people don't have that calmness. Like people are so afraid of screwing up in front of a bunch of audience, right? So that's the reason why they want everything to be so controlled, so they can have that sense of security. But for me, wrestling is about performing from your heart. So you can't perform from your heart if you have a set of choreography that you adhere to. So for me, it's more to in the moment, listening to the audience, gauging the crowd reaction, and then changing what I do in the ring just to get their reactions. So that is what a lot of wrestlers are lacking these days, which is getting the emotion from the audience. Because if you set a bunch of choreographed moves and you do it in the ring, it's like shots on duty already. Because you're just doing a performance, dance, finish. That's it.
Let me try and relate this. So let's say you're a fan of stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly. Yeah.
So-
That's it.
so stand-up comedy, right? People, first of all, it's one of the most underestimated.
Form of art.
Yes, professionality. Right? It's one of the most underrated profession. So you go on stage, right? You have to make people laugh, react.
Exactly.
It's just like if you are someone who is a sucky, shitty wrestler, you go into the ring, the people might just be staring at you and they have no reaction. It's all
Yeah.
about the reaction. They have to be paying attention the whole time, basically. Yeah.
It's more nervous when they don't give you a reaction. They're
Exactly.
just staring
so
at
you
you.
imagine as a stand-up artist, you have this set of jokes that you want to tell, right?
Yeah, that part
And
as well.
it's not working. Are you going to change up or are you just going to keep on reading your set of jokes? It's not going to work.
So like what Ayez said before, it has to come from the heart when he's wrestling, because if you're going exactly 100% to the script, things might not work out. It's just like if you're on stage telling your stand-up material, right? And it's all from a script, people can tell immediately. They
Exactly.
can tell. At least, maybe if your script is about 70-80%, at least you are more fluid, right? They one thing people just cannot appreciate is when you are reciting your lines. When
Exactly, yeah.
It's the same, right?
Exact same thing.
I always wonder, like, do they practice when it comes to those chain wrestling? You know, when suddenly like Cesaro will be doing a lot of moves at the same time with 5 guys and he moves
You
around.
have to, right?
Do they have to practice those
So,
things?
chain wrestling, there's a mix up in term.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
pro wrestling side my pro wrestler side is being like very picky about it. So chain wrestling is actually the grappling, you see, in the
Yeah.
ring. So that is what we do is we learn shoot wrestling and we train. So we just freestyle basically. But what you mean is a chain link rehearsal, chain link sequence.
Oh.
So chain link sequence is when you do a lot of things in a row.
Yeah.
And most of the time, that one is the same. If you're on a professional level, Cesaro, for example, in that situation, he'll tell you like, okay, I'm gonna do this. You need to be here. You need to be here. You need to be here. Boom. Then they won't rehearse. They'll just do it when the time comes,
Right.
basically. But on an indie level, most of the time you'll see the guys rehearsing everything.
So, so during the match at ROW, right? How many people were there in attendance? How many
I
seats?
think it was about 400-ish.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Oh, you've done. So you have experience already. You've got experience.
Oh yes,
Yeah, way
Performing in
more
front
than
of
that.
way more, definitely.
Yeah. So, but you definitely got some jitters because it's a different audience also. Is
I
it?
think the main difference is, number one is you're working for camera. It's a lot different than working for a live audience, like how I'm used to in the indies in Malaysia and everything. And second is when it comes
What do you mean
to
you're working for camera?
working for camera. Oh, sorry. Working is a term for performing
Yeah.
in pro wrestling, right? So when we are doing a TV show for a TV slot, we have to perform.
ROW is on the TV slot, right?
It's on the
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
slot. So we have to perform for the camera so it appears well on the TV screen. So if you're
Oh,
oblivious,
I
if you're
got
if
you,
you're
yeah.
just performing for the audience, then you can tell from the camera work on the TV. You can tell like something's off, like a wrestler is not there, kind of thing.
It's like each time you see The Rock do the people's elbow.
Exactly,
And
he
he's not
knows.
He do the spine buster.
Yes,
and
he knows
facing the
exactly.
camera
He knows
most of the
exactly
time.
which camera to face, what's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
positioning and everything. Yeah,
But when you're a kid, you never notice all this shit,
exactly.
right?
And then I think when it comes to jitters, at that point, for me, I'm kind of blessed in a way where I can get into character. So at that point, when you see me coming out from the curtains, it's my character wanting to kill this guy. That's it. Like it's I get into my character so much to the point where I don't care about what the audience think. And I think that's
Damn.
what helps me as a pro wrestler as well. To come across as genuine and someone that you can it's like, wow, this guy is actually something.
Do you think that this is something a bit more natural to you because you've been obsessed since you're a kid, or it's something you had to practice?
I would say both, definitely. Like
course, right.
number one, being obsessed as a kid, obviously you play a lot of wrestling. So you kind of like get
Yeah.
into a character even before you're a professional. But once you're on a pro level, there are ways on how you can train yourself to get into character as well.
So like I saw your match with Jonathan Vegas, right? Jonathan Vegas, and the other guy is Bolton.
Tommy Bolton.
Tommy Bolton. So you said there's a bit of heat on you when you first got in there, but so after the match, how was it like? Speaking with them,
Still there?
Like definitely like Tommy is
definitely.
Tommy is a very very nice guy. Tommy he respected me as a veteran because basically
He's a young dude, huh?
he's a young dude. Like Booker T basically told them that this guy is from Malaysia. He set up the wrestling there and he knows what he's doing. So he respected Booker T's opinion enough to be able to respect me.
How long? Like just for example, there's Tommy Bolton. How long has he been doing
I
it?
think it's about like 3 years. I think.
Okay.
3 years.
Yeah.
Because in pro wrestling in the States, usually up 10 to 15 years is when you start to mature in the
Damn,
business.
that's a long time, man.
Exactly. Like for me, thankfully I mature in 6 years. Like I understand the concept.
You kind
and
of
everything.
had to mature faster
Exactly.
because you're at the head of everything and you've got a lot more load on your shoulders. So.
Yeah. So the heat is definitely there. Like my match with Jonathan, like
Jonathan Vegas.
all respect to him, but you can see me walking out the matches, and then if you can see, I'm super bruised up, my chest and everything, because this guy was just going to town with me. Cause probably he's just like, screw you, I'm gonna lose to you, so I'm gonna hit you real hard. Oh.
Bro, so after this podcast, can we watch the match? And
Of
then
course,
I want to hear
of course,
your
yeah.
thoughts. Shit, man.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he was like giving everything to me like damn hard. So
I saw who was it? Was it Bolton or Vegas? You had one clothesline on him. That looked hard, man.
it depends though.
The elbow clothesline.
Like for me, if you go to town with me,
You have to.
basically for me pro wrestling is a performance. Like we are supposed to control the environment so both of us don't get hurt, right? So if I give you the liberty of taking care of my body, I trust you with my body so you don't hurt me, but if you take advantage of that, then I'm gonna have to teach you a lesson lah. So
It's
it
also-
happened a lot of times already.
It's very natural, right, in the biz. Yeah. It's also you need to gain the respect back.
Exactly.
If not, they're gonna do it more.
Yep, you cannot allow yourself but you need to make sure that it's properly given in a sense where it doesn't get out of control. So like what I mean with getting out of control is you start going crazy on him the whole time. Not like that. The best way to teach someone is just give him once for him to understand like, okay, I'll back down.
Yeah, you can't just start fighting.
Yeah. And then once you give the message, they understand, and then we calm down and continue the match. Finish it.
I've seen videos of, I think Brock Lesnar, was it? Punch some dude.
Braun Strowman.
Yeah, Braun Strowman, yeah.
Wait, Brock punched Braun.
Yeah. So basically, Braun gave him a knee to the head,
Yeah.
so it rocked Brock.
But do you think Braun messed up or he was just being reckless?
I don't think he was being reckless, to be honest, because it was such a high magnitude match because it's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, dude.
So
and
he
they're
got.
heavy.
I think that was his first big match in a while. So he got super excited. You can see wrestlers, they get excited because of the adrenaline from the crowd and everything. The crowd is roaring. Obviously, you're gonna get super excited and pumped up. So I think he just kind of got too excited that he went too hard on Brock.
Yeah, he fucked up, basically.
Yeah. So Brock got pissed and just gave him a punch to the
literally
jaw.
punched him, dude. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but what he did was so graceful because, you know, a lot of people have this reputation. Back then, Brock, the reputation about Brock that he doesn't love the business, right? Or he doesn't care. But you see that moment how he handled it. It's just one punch. He calmed down. He went to the cane.
Brock
and then
is
that's it. He's
Brock
pro.
is actually an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And you know, he's a country boy as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he's very, I think, I hear he's very feared among the wrestlers because of
Definitely.
because of his transition to MMA, as
MMA.
well. You know, that's quite crazy, man.
He also has a backstage reputation of not liking people. So
He doesn't give a fuck. He's
Yeah.
that type of attitude. Huh?
Yeah, but I've also heard that if you actually, like walk up to him and ask for advice, he would actually be kind enough to give you advice. Like, it's just that because people are scared of him, they just tend to stay away from him.
You've never
That's
met
right.
him, right?
I've never met him, but I've seen him walking in person.
Well, he was doing a show in Malaysia.
I know I was in the States back then.
But you were
So-
watching a show, was it?
Yeah. So, like for example, I would say
He's 6'4", I think, 6'4" or 5". Right?
he's about that height, but I think what is scary about him is like he's like 4 times my height. He's like
Dude, he's wide as
it's like a walking door. You see him, and then you're just like, whoa, this guy. You want to get punched? You don't want to get punched by him.
It's what
crazy.
Olympic is it Olympic level?
NCAA.
NCAA, yeah.
Crazy.
Highest level of wrestling, just below Olympics, man.
Legit. It's crazy.
Let's talk more about the stunts and just what people actually don't understand. Like this is the part where I respect the most about wrestlers is the punishment that they have to endure. and the injuries and actually how fucking tough they are, dude. I remember, so one of the first moments where I kind of realized that it's not all that fake, you know, like what people, for example, when you tell a regular person who probably was never engrossed in wrestling at any point, you say that, oh, we got to spar before, we got to practice, and they'll think, why do you have to spar? It's fake, it's scripted. But then if you actually look in detail, how much damage they have to do or how high risk the stunts are. I did a sales job I was in Melbourne, right? I did a sales job. So they would send us out to this suburb and then we do door knocking, right? Door knocking. So we're in a van and then they send us out. We are just direct sales team. This dude on my right, and I'm talking to him, is a local Australian dude, right? He's a big dude. He tells me he's a wrestler. So I thought he was kidding, and then he showed me pictures and all. Yeah, he wrestles. I can't remember what's his stage name, but then he explained to me that the blood in wrestling, I used to think that the blood from wrestling was a blood pouch. Mm-hmm. So it's like a skin-colored blood pouch. Mm-hmm. So you hit it, and poop. Yeah, that's how Does that ever? Do people ever use that?
No, we blade most of the time.
Yeah, so he fucking took out a blade from his wallet and said, this is what we use, a blade. Yeah. Basically the blade that when you go to the Indian barber.
Exactly, yeah, that blade.
That is that fucking blade, okay? You go to the Indian barber and that's that rectangle blade that they use, right? They wrestlers use it. But they mask it so well that you can't see it.
Yeah,
so,
there's a specific way to mask the tape with your wrist tape. So it hides very well in here. Sometimes because you have to hand it to the referee, right? The referee pass it to you. So you need to make sure it's properly secured. Just the small tiny edge at the end is showing.
Okay, sorry. Can you tell me, so why do you have to hand it to the referee? Because it's hard to wrestle when you have it.
Yeah, because back then they used to hide it in the wrist tape, right? So they would put it here, for example, and they'll wrap a tape over.
Yeah, but you can.
So when the time comes, you'll peel it off, take the blade, and blade yourself. So usually what happens is if you move your wrist too much, then you might accidentally stab yourself. So now it's safer. It's a lot safer to give it to the referee. So when the time comes, the referee will hand you the blade out of his pocket, and you're gonna cut yourself.
How do they do the transfer without people seeing usually? Do you use it in your shows?
Not in Malaysia. I can't do it in Malaysia because we have a lot of children in the audience, so we don't want to scare them. And then at the same time, we're trying to get sponsors, so I don't want to scare sponsors with a lot of blood as well. But I've learned the technique and I've tried it myself as well.
For fun, no?
For fun. Practical. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure sometime down the road I'm going to have the blade, so I have to try it out on my own. So usually what happens is a lot of camera work. The camera team knows when to be distracted. Then your opponent will be distracting the audience from looking at you. So that's when the referee will like slowly hand to you.
Okay. Did you have to blade in ROW?
No, I didn't have to blade.
Do you think it's essential?
It is, actually, because there was once I had a match in Malaysia. So at that point, it was just pure adrenaline. I wanted to tell a story because I was being attacked by my rival at that point, right? So what happened was I had an adrenaline rush, so I bite my lips to spew out blood.
Wait, you...
So blood helps to enhance the feeling of sympathy, especially if you're a good guy. So when I did that, I scan around the audience. I can see children and women crying. So it's essential up to a point. Just don't over abuse it. Like some wrestlers, they just simply blade. You tend to lose the sensitivity.
Hey man, blading. I think blading is not as bad as biting your lip just to bleed.
Oh, definitely.
You might bite too much and
I regretted the next day because it was swollen, and then like you cannot even eat without feeling pain.
No, you literally at that moment, because there's so much blood, you can just a mist of blood,
and then
right?
you mix it with your saliva to make it more
fluid. The visuals look nicer.
Exactly.
So Vincent,
but it's dumb.
Yeah.
You want to do some wrestling?
Oh man, I came prepared, man. I think I respect enough the business to not want to get a chop.
But it's not. You don't have to bleed to be a good wrestler.
You don't have to bleed to be good.
You don't have to. But now that you say, I mean, like, I didn't realize this. Yeah, all the blood is usually on the face character.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
Sorry, what face?
On the good character.
On the good guys, because that is what elicits sympathy from the audience. Like, oh, my hero is getting beat up. kind of thing, and it works. It works, but like I mentioned, you have to use it very sparingly, because if you do it all the time, then the audience lose sensitivity.
Yeah, I've
And
just attached to the image of Ric Flair always
Oh,
bleeding
yeah.
all the time in
definitely.
his
Ric Flair
matches.
loves to bleed. He loves to. No, Ric
Ric
Flair.
Flair.
He loves to.
Yeah,
bleed.
yeah, I heard him. I heard
All
him
the
talk
time,
about it
yeah.
also. Yeah, all the time. Then Joe Rogan asked him, so how many days a week would you do it in 7 days? Every day. Every day. He just loves. But of course, at a different sport, lah. Yeah, you gotta let your.
How do you feel about like wrestling being so open with all the tricks and secrets?
You try your best to protect it, but it's 2023. No, it's 2023, and everybody has access to the internet, and you can just get answers there as well. So, I think it's a bit insulting to the audience if you try and conceal it too much. You say like, "Oh, it's real," like I get hit by the chair and I actually bled. I think you're insulting the intelligence of the audience. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
So it's just that if I were to be hired by a big company like WWE, and then with contract, I'm not supposed to reveal anything, then I will shut up and let the audience guess and everything. But I think it's very difficult these days, especially with social media, especially with a lot of even if you see wrestlers on podcasts, on interviews, they are always asked questions in non-kayfabe questions.
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
don't get asked about characters anymore, so on
Correct,
and so forth.
correct.
Yeah.
What is that one secret that you feel that it's still not out there when it comes to wrestling?
I don't think there's any. I think a lot of people already know everything.
I always wonder about the green mist though. Because it's done so flawlessly. Is it like the camera work, they catch it at the right time and then she just...
I wouldn't want to share the secret to the
So
green
that's
mist.
still a secret.
A lot of people still don't know. Some do, but a lot of people still don't know. But because Tajiri hand down the move to me, so mine is the red mist.
Wait, you're using the mist as well?
Yeah, if you
Oh
watch,
my God.
you can see. I just posted it on Instagram. There was a match where Tajiri did the green mist and then I did the red mist. We were in a tag match. So
He's not your team, is it?
he was my partner in the match. So he did the green mist and I did the red mist. So there was a lot of comments asking like how do you do it. And still I can't share mainly because it was something that is given down to me by Tajiri,
correct.
and it would be disrespectful for me to.
Correct.
They're like, oh, we actually did this. And
I wouldn't want you to share it out.
Tajiri had another SmackDown,
The buzzsaw.
Buzzsaw
Buzzsaw kick, because I remember playing it and he just kept kicking the head.
and his kicks are one of the most brutal kicks in the business. Like if you see, you'll get scared. Imagine receiving them.
I'm really surprised that like wow,
he
the
beat his
story of
lip.
how it's handed to you, because the only person that right now we know doing the mist is Asuka. So how do you choose red mist? Like why how do you have to choose specific color or
He gave it to me,
Oh.
so I have to accept it with an open arms. Yeah. So
Was that your first time meeting Tajiri when he came down? to
second
Indo?
time I wrestled him once in 2018.
In where?
AWE is a different wrestling promotion.
AWE. Yeah.
No, that is AEW.
Sorry.
AEW. That is AEW. AWE was actually one of my efforts of trying. That was my pre-APAC days. Pre-APAC wrestling.
No, but I saw Hurricane when you wrestled Hurricane.
Yes, correct. That's AWE.
Yeah.
So AWE is
So
the
what
same
is
promotion.
AWE actually?
AWE was one of my efforts to make APAC wrestling.
It's still your
back then.
basically it's yours.
But it's shut down already. So now it's basically just APAC wrestling.
okay.
why do you have to shut down? Because like the visuals, the logos, everything is so prepared well.
it's just
so
revamping.
much money is invested into it.
It's a crazy story behind that. Is there was supposed to be an investor from UK for AWE, right? So this guy came on board and then supposedly invest blah 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 blah. But then what I found out was he has been getting a lot of money from sponsors
And not sharing it.
and not sharing it with everyone. So I was working with him for up to a year, and I did not receive 8 months of salary.
Oh no.
And then he ran away. And all of us, like me and the wrestlers and everything, we did get paid. Me and the local wrestlers. And some of the foreign guys who came and stayed here in Malaysia
Yeah.
were not paid as well. So
Yeah.
everyone had to go back. So
Yeah.
it was a very crazy experience.
Well, huge respect to you lah for just keep pushing on. It's actually very common in like MMA industry as well. Like the coaches, a lot of them just they don't pay, or they run away with money. You get scammed. This type of shit.
A lot of fake promoters
Yeah,
coming
fake-
out.
fake promoters.
They don't ever get scared they get caught because he's working with a bunch of wrestlers.
I know where he is. He's
Oh boy.
He's a not local dude, right?
he's not local. He's a Brit. I know where he is. I know where he works. Just I choose not to choose violence because I'm a very calm person.
You know when Triple H like took over like more roles and responsibilities like few years back, and you can see that Triple H trying to reach out to a lot of people from different places like China, UK, Singapore.
Singapore. Yeah.
Were you ever part of like the conversation where you receive something from WWE and Triple H want to reach out to like local territories?
Unfortunately, no. But that I believe has to do with nepotism, in a sense where the tryouts was set for Asian superstars, but we were left out of it due to political thing. That is my opinion on the situation, because it's so weird that just so happens Singapore got called, Thailand went there, Philippines went there, but not Malaysia. Malaysia is definitely one of the top
Oh, okay.
wrestling company.
But
in
it's a
Southeast Asia.
political reason.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
I got a
Political as in like country political or just the company political?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that someone
Got it.
purposely left us out.
Got
from
it,
the,
got
from
it.
the tryouts. Yeah.
I got a very conflicting question for you. WWE offers you a contract. Apex has to shut down.
Oh man.
I don't think Impact is gonna shut down. Like for example, if I ever get contract with WWE,
Yeah. No, that's why the question is conflicting.
I mean, there is a
Follow your
established
dreams
there's
or-
an established
Yeah.
scenario in the form of Paul Heyman.
because at the same point, I'm also training my students to run the company as well. So if I ever have to be based there, someone can take care of it here.
The best way is to go out with the wrestling way, which
Exactly.
is you're gonna write a storyline within APAC to show your departure.
Oh shit! Yeah.
It's a retirement match.
Everything's just a plus.
Loser leaves the company.
Exactly. Loser leaves the company.
It's kind of like you live your dream or you wanna build your dream here in Malaysia.
It's very difficult to answer this, because like I think that my future is in the States, because
You mean Apex also?
I know me as a professional wrestler, I think my future is there in the States, because my talents are appreciated there more, and I've been offered by a lot of companies
Are you serious?
yeah.
Like the American ones, oh.
to be back. Like they keep emailing me saying like, if you're back in the States, please let us know, because we would love to book you in our shows, so on and so forth. And these are big companies. I can't mention names because it's not materialized yet, but
Is it WWE?
I cannot mention names. But
Can you mention off camera?
later. But
That's good enough.
But that's the thing though. Like I still prefer to bring up my family in Malaysia, kind of thing. So like I really want to be based in Malaysia. I want my family to be in Malaysia. I want my kids to grow up in Malaysia.
I feel Malaysia is really the best place, except for currency. Other than that, Malaysia is like a fantastic place.
Yeah, so I think it will work in a sense where I go there and I work and I earn in US dollars and I send money back here. The
yeah. You
amount
can
that-
just be back and forth.
exactly. Yeah, so that's the
Bro.
the deal that I have in mind in the future.
Damn, you really will make Malaysia so proud, if you actually get
I hope so.
signed.
I hope so.
I think
Yeah,
I mean like I've already felt proud. It's like
I'm
thinking about you.
yeah, it's quite amazing. But then you hear the Booker T meetups. That's how the story is supposed to end, right? So something great is gonna happen. Have you ever checked out I'm sure you guys have like backyard wrestling.
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely.
That stuff is nasty, dude. It's insane and sick, and it kind of just doesn't make any sense, right?
Exactly. Like a mature wrestler would understand that you want to do less but get the most amount of money. So if
Yeah.
you watch all the A-list wrestlers, like John Cena,
Yeah.
this kind of wrestlers, they do very little in the ring,
Yeah.
but they maximize their income.
Also because you want to be in peak shape
Exactly.
throughout the year,
You don't want to destroy yourself before you even make it to the mainstream.
which makes you respect the olden days wrestlers even more, right? Because they were definitely just tougher people.
I think they're also smarter people as well.
What, the olden days wrestlers?
Yeah, they're definitely smarter.
Smart.
They like in terms of like protecting their body, not sacrificing too much.
Okay.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Hands down, that's the truth.
In what sense?
They know ways on how to work a match, but make sure that your body's health is elongated. A lot of wrestlers these days, they do too much crazy stunts that would destroy, that would shorten their career. but it's not really worth it. When if you think about it, like the more damage you give to yourself, the more damage your body receives, the less likely you will have 10 years of career.
But could it also be because it's like all these new wrestlers or indie wrestlers, they don't have a platform where they get to show more of their character. So the only way to capture attention is to do all these stunts.
It could also be that, but
There has to be a
I
factor.
still do believe that it all boils down to how you're able to connect to the audience emotionally, rather than what you do in the ring. Like for example, like my appearance in RW was short; it was just 6 episodes, but yet I remain as one of the most memorable superstar there, and I have a lot of. Just my second match, the kids, everyone was doing this gesture to me. Even after the show, they were all crowding to get my my autograph
That must
and
have been
taking a
awesome,
photo
right,
with me. So it shows that I made them feel something to the point where they remember me. So that is more important than doing fancy stuff in the ring. They will clap for you at that moment, but right after they'll forget
They
it.
might forget. So what is the difference in the crowd? Like the crowd in the live audience, Malaysian and at ROW.
Honestly, Malaysian crowd is crazy a lot. Mainly because I think they're not exposed to wrestling much, live show wrestling, right?
So they're shouting all the
Yeah,
time.
it's crazy. The energy you get from the Malaysian audience is
Oh really?
a lot crazier.
Oh shit!
than-
Can't wait.
Oh, definitely, you should be part of the audience.
Yeah,
And you
I
can.
will.
It's very different. It's very
Can I throw
different because
bottles at you? Do people do that?
I don't think they dare to do it.
Yeah, that's
because-
fucking stupid.
yeah.
Okay. The back to the backyard wrestling, right? This is the craziest thing I've seen in backyard wrestling, right? Maybe you can share the craziest thing you've seen also, but this just didn't make any sense, dude. This guy was sitting in the middle of the ring, and another wrestler took let's say this cup right here, right? So it's just a circle plastic, I think. It's like a hockey puck. On top of the hockey puck, there's nails.
Oh.
And there's many nails. So there's probably like 20 nails, right? And he put it on the guy's head and started hammering it down. So what is that wrestling to you? You know what I mean? He's like, hey, we're gonna wrestle, and okay, you sit down here, and I'm gonna. Yeah, that's quite preposterous, right?
If you ask me honestly, like I would do this kind of stunts only if you pay me a lot of money.
Hey,
Then
man,
it's worth it.
I
But
don't want
if
you to
it's-
ever do that for how many money,
But if
like
it's
how
for
much money. bro.
backyard wrestling, is just a handful of people watching you, and
There's
then
no
you're gonna
money in
upload it on YouTube, and there's no money. Why on earth am I gonna put myself through that much pain just for the sake of entertaining people?
Yeah.
Dude, they hit each other with spike clubs.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Fucked up.
Fluorescent lights.
Yeah. For
That's the worst because you have the pieces. Because I've done it in films, stunt moves and stuff.
You were the one that got whacked.
Yeah. So what you hate the most about fluorescent light is the dust that comes out, because it sticks to your skin and it's very difficult to get it out. Like even if you try to shower, it will scrape your skin because it's dust. It's glass dust.
Oh my god, glass dust.
Exactly. So
So
I,
yeah, it's
I wouldn't want to do fluorescent lights in my matches.
What's your take about backyard wrestling? How do you feel about it?
I love playing the PS2 game.
Yeah,
Do you guys actually play that?
They had
I
they had
bought
the
it,
game.
but
I
I
bought
wasn't
it.
getting it. You bought it as well.
Yeah, but I didn't really enjoy it.
I didn't
loved it.
enjoy. I didn't enjoy that one.
I loved it, but that's because I'm thinking of it as a cartoon, right? Like it's just a game.
Yeah, it's just a
right?
game.
But
right.
real life, I'm disgusted. Of course, I'm fucking disgusted. Like it doesn't make any sense, dude.
Like I feel bad for them that they feel they have to do it.
Yeah, of course.
But at the same point, I do believe that they are grown adults and they should be able to, make good decisions.
I think the only two wrestlers I can think of like who comes from that kind of wrestling is just Mick Foley, probably, or John Moxley, the Dean Ambrose guy.
Who's that?
John Moxley.
Some guy.
Older-
who's quite
older?
Big. He's
New-
current.
new-
He's current.
Yeah, he's current.
No, he's quite nasty also.
He comes
He
from the
blades every
background.
match. Every match, you'll see him.
What's his name? Sorry,
John Moxley.
John Moxley.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
He's quite
He's
huge.
quite big.
He's about like 6'5", I think.
Okay. The craziest thing that I've seen on WWE, I think it's the craziest that any of y'all, most people will agree, is Mick Foley.
Getting
From
thrown
the-
off.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude. But
That's
it's so
insane.
crazy how when I'm a kid watching it, right, I don't think that, hey, that's actually real. I watched it when I was a kid. It never registered in my mind. Like, dude, there's because in my mind, at the start of WWE, it says don't perform this at home. They're professional athletes, so you think it's scripted somehow.
Yeah.
There's a cushion. There's no fucking cushion,
There's
bro.
no cushion. Yeah, it's just pure stunt. You just need to know how to land. But
So he fell. Undertaker pushed him till and he fell on the
table.
was it the broadcaster's desk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The commentator's desk. Sorry. If he fell on the floor, he's probably dead.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Imagine falling even on the table, right? From a height of 30 feet. 30 feet it's like
Is it
4
30
stories
feet?
high. It's 30 feet.
The Hell in Cell is 30
Hell in a Cell
feet.
is 30 feet. Yeah. It's crazy.
And just for the audience that probably don't know what we're talking about, right? So imagine doing that once, which is fucking insane. And he was probably like filled with all sorts of painkillers already during that match. Do they take it during the match?
They don't.
It's after the match.
It depends.
That's fucked up,
Yeah, it
man. So
depends.
anyways, he fell from the Hell in the Cell cage 30 feet on the commentator's table. 5 minutes later, he's back up on the top of the Hell in the Cell cage.
He gets choke slam.
Did he fall down again or inside?
Yeah, inside. But,
Inside the ring, right?
From
through
the cage to inside the ring.
Yeah, it's slightly less of an impact, but
I think more.
you think so?
Definitely. Because when it comes to doing stunt work, and tables, they break your fall. Because it crumbles together
Yeah,
with
there's
you.
double layer. Like,
Exactly. So like a wrestling ring is actually not soft. A lot of people think it's soft. It's actually not soft. Wrestling is quite stiff.
it's like a boxing ring, is it?
Not much of a boxing ring. But okay, I want you to imagine this. It's a steel beam. So when there's a lot of impact on the steel beam, it would bend and then it would go back up.
Oh my god!
So that's the bounce that people see and they think it's bouncy, but you're actually just throwing your body on the mat. And the worst.
So it's literally you're hitting the steel once, like I mean the floor mat will hit the steel and then bounce up.
Yep, so it's a steel. They have the long beams, the steels, and then they have plywood, about this thick, the plywood, and then the mats is about this thick of table, and the mat is just like those MMA puzzle mats that you.
Yeah.
So it actually hurts a lot to get slammed. Like for me, getting choke slammed by Hurricane is one of the worst pain that I've ever felt.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it later.
Because he's 6 foot. He's 6'2". So with his hands extended, easily I'm 7 feet on the air. Then you have to free fall back first to the mat.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe at that point, and when he was pinning me, I was supposed to kick out. I really couldn't kick out. I was like, I had to muster all the strength that I had to actually kick out, and then told him to like give me some time because I had to try to breathe because I couldn't breathe after the choke slam. So imagine taking one from Kane or Big Show.
Hurricane has he? I can't really remember. Has he done some really crazy moves as well?
Hurricane is one of the craziest back
Is it?
then in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, the way he fly out of Royal Rumble as a superhero, that is quite
He's very acrobatic.
Is Hurricane's choke slam? Is it? That's
his
his.
choke slam.
Yeah, choke slam.
okay.
Correct. So imagine the pain. I felt the pain taking a choke slam from Hurricane.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine the pain taking a choke slam from someone as tall as Kane or Big Show.
Yeah.
Has Hurricane gotten choke slam from those people?
Oh,
he
yeah,
has.
yeah.
Yes, definitely.
How does it feel? I've never hit the ropes before, but how does it feel? I heard it's like super painful.
Definitely, the first few
The ropes?
The ropes, yeah.
You
'cause
bounce and you run around, and people
But
see
hitting
it's
the
very
floor
fun.
is worse. I mean, hitting the mat is worse.
I think the ropes hurts as well if you're not used to it. A lot of my trainees, the first few weeks, they'll get very bad bruises on the back from the ropes itself. But after a few weeks, it kind of like thicken up the skin, the calluses and everything, so you don't feel the pain anymore. But mainly because you need to throw your body full force to the ropes, so that's why it hurts that much.
Is there no other argument? Like the craziest moment in WWE was definitely Mick Foley.
I
Falling.
think there's a lot,
I think
but
there's a lot.
it's just that match was so emotional that you remember everything,
Yeah.
like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's also the TLC matches, the table
Yeah, yeah.
ladders. That one is quite crazy as well. The Shane. Have you seen the updated version of somebody jumping down from Hell in a Cell, which is Shane McMahon?
Yeah. He jumped on and.
So there is a newer version of Hell in a Cell, which is made much taller, bigger. So I heard that the reason why they do it is so that they kind of demotivated wrestlers from going down or climbing up.
Climbing up, man. They don't really like.
Oh, they made the
They
cage
made it
higher.
higher.
They don't like it when wrestlers jump down because it's very risky to them.
Yeah, as a business, like what the fuck?
So Shane McMahon then decides to jump down
Dude, it's like your employees deciding, to just jump down. You're like, what are you guys doing?
This one is the owner's son.
Yeah, exactly.
Owner's son doing that. So that was the updated version. That is pretty crazy as
Oh,
well. Yeah, he jumped down from the top. But here's
Where did he land?
on the announcer table, but there's cushion. You can see there's a cushion. But that's still pretty wild.
It is fucking wild, dude.
You don't have to do it, but a lot of wrestlers feel like they have to do it because it helps to heighten the emotion of the audience. Basically, it depends on the wrestlers and the story they're telling. Basically,
You know,
What kind of stunts would you sacrifice your body to do that you think is worth it?
I would do anything, to be honest, but it needs to be on a big stage. It needs to be on a big stage with, like a lot of eyeballs watching. Then it's worth it, because if it's just 6,000 people watching, no point.
Yeah.
If it's millions of people watching worldwide, like on a WWE stage, then I don't mind doing the stunts.
then you're made for the showbiz, bro. Yeah, because a lot of people wouldn't. So far, in your career, right, what's the craziest stunt that you've had to do, or maybe you have a couple in mind?
I think in a film.
In a film,
In a film,
in the ring.
Oh,
Or
in the ring.
on the film, that was a crazier one.
for me, all the stunts that I do in wrestling is very mild compared to the stunts that I do for films. Because films, like for example, I got hit by a car, which is moving at 60 kilometers per hour.
Huh?
So that one hurts.
But how does that
It
go?
was a Indian movie, a Tamil film from
Yeah.
India, right? So basically, they had the stunt guy replace the driver. The stunt guy replaced the actor.
Which is yourself?
I know. The actor is the hero lah.
No, I mean the stunt guy is you.
No, they had a stunt driver to drive the car, because you have to make sure it's not more than 60 or not less than 60. Because if it's less, you can see in the screen it's slow. If it's too fast, I'll die.
No, but bro, 60 also shouldn't you die?
Yeah, 60. But you have a technique to it. So I got hit and I roll up. I
Oh,
had
yeah,
to
yeah.
roll up to the top of the car, and then fly off down to the ground. So it's like broop, boom.
But was there cushions on the side or what?
No, because where I fall is where the path of the car is. They padded me up, my elbows, my back, the back padding. And
Is it grass at least or?
it was tar.
It was tar.
So it hurt like crazy, and I regret doing it because back then, it paid very well, and I never thought about, it causing long-term damage to me.
Just one of those
The wear and tear and everything, yeah. And then
They're just
one of the
those
films I had
crazy
to
dudes.
jump down from the 13th floor. 13th floor.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the but. Because if someone jumps down from the 13th floor, they're not here right
So
now.
basically, it's a free fall, but I'm being harnessed to a rope, right? But they will only pull the brakes manually, not by machine.
Yeah.
They'll pull the brakes when I'm almost hitting the ground. So I had to trust 100% at the rigging team to make sure that they brake on time or I die. That kind of thing. But they paid me like about 15,000 for that. 15,000
I don't
ringgit
even
for
wanna.
that jump.
I don't even wanna ask how your parents are reacting.
They didn't know. Like obviously I wouldn't tell them because
Yeah,
they would
duh.
disapprove.
Like what? Not only disapprove. Like why would you tell them? Because it's
Exactly.
gonna cause so much stress.
So I just did because they asked the stunt guys on the set, who here can jump from the living floor. So I asked how much are you paying. So they brought me aside. We deal with the producer, so they'll pay me 15,000. Okay, cool, I'll do it. So they did it.
I think if you ask for more, they might have just paid you as well.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they don't want that scene or.
They opened the price and I kind of accepted it, but I think it was fine for I think it was in 2011. So for that year, 15,000 was quite good.
Bro, that's fucking insane, man. Like,
Trusting your life on the riggers to
You know who's
break on time.
you know who's Amar Alfian?
I do. The
Yeah,
guy
so-
who he was in
Pascal.
Pascal, and I
Yeah.
see him a lot in Dive Fitness as well.
Yeah. I always see him also there. So I did the podcast with him, and then he was telling me about Pascal. Pascal, there's one scene where he had
To hang up.
hang and fall.
Yeah.
Then I trying to compare that to the stunts that you do. I'm like, that's like a movie star stunt. Yours is a stuntman stunt.
Stuntman stunt, correct.
Yeah. Very big difference.
A lot of crazy stuff. But that's the thing though. If I think about it back then in the days, if I didn't do these stunts, then my body wouldn't be going through too much wear and tear like it has now, basically.
Yeah, of course.
Because I was doing stunts and then I was fighting Muay Thai as well.
Oh, you competed before?
I competed Muay Thai sometime around 2007 to 2009. About 3 years.
Fuck, you're just a mad dude. Just one of those guys, man.
Thanks to pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Like I wish I found pro wrestling sooner so I can minimize the damage I did to my body.
But you've always been the biggest fan of pro wrestling. It's just that you didn't see any any way to come about it, and then you kind of push yourself to. So tell me, like, what was that pusher that made you realize, like, I have got to build it myself?
Booker T, definitely.
It was Booker T,
The
yeah.
words that he told me, definitely. After the exact moment he told me, like a month later, I started up the school.
Dude, you know, I when you said that also, I got some goosebumps already, man.
How did the nickname Prophet of Pain came about?
Prophet of Pain. So basically, I was known as a strong style wrestler. Strong style meaning hard hitting striker. I'm before hard hitting, but because of that, people kind of like fear me in the ring. Like, oh, you don't want to mess with Shaukat because, you know, like he'll hit you really hard. Da, 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 da. So there's this song from the WWE SmackDown game. Hell, I can't remember which SmackDown game, but there's this song by the Fireball Ministry called The Broken.
I love their soundtrack actually.
Yeah, exactly.
But I
They
don't
always
know
have
that
the
one.
best soundtrack selections.
Yeah.
So one of the music had the lyrics in it. The Prophet of Pain gave warning. So I adopted that into my name, basically.
Very nice.
So the deliverance of pain.
Ooh.
How long have you been using the red mist? That's your signature. What?
Tajiri just passed it down to me in December.
Yeah. So what about before? What was your signature?
A lot of things. Like my main finisher is a Samoan driver. So I pick the guy up on my shoulders and I'll twist him around, land him head first, and his body curl down. So I'll scrunch his body in a C shape and I drive his head down to the mat.
Is this something you created yourself or other wrestlers have
Other
done
wrestlers have done it, but I
it? Add a little spice to it.
just
Spiced it up.
so it looks Shaukat rather than
So it can be your signature.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite signature? Not your own move. I mean, just from wrestlers.
Back then, I would be able to list down my favorite moves, but now being in the industry and being a pro wrestler myself, it's very difficult to.
Why?
Once you are in the industry, you see wrestling. You no longer see it as a fan, but you see it as a student of the game. So, everything you see is very analytical. Like the things that they do in the ring. Like I can break down a match just by watching it, rather than like fans. They connect to the match through the emotions and the storytelling.
Yeah.
But because I know the formula, the things that the wrestlers do, all the matches I see is broken down into techniques and formulas and so on and so forth. So when I watch these matches, it's mainly to study. So I kind of don't enjoy the product anymore as a fan.
He said the same thing to
I
me
said
just now.
he was asking me like
But
who do I
more
like.
as a student.
Yeah, I for myself personally, I mean, I've been watching wrestling like 20 years as well. And after you watch so long, you tend to just enjoy how good they create the product.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, how whether the stars are improving or not, which part they did really well, rather than supporting a single wrestler and really cheering for it. I still do that with somebody who I grew up, which is Randy Orton. So I just do that for that. But for the newer wrestlers, I just can't find myself to watch it as a fan anymore. Yeah.
So, do you have a wrestler that even till today, if he's wrestling, it can bring you back to that guy, that young boy that was once very
Undertaker.
Undertaker.
Hands down.
When was his last match?
I think it was in 2020, I think.
Well, it's
with
not too
AJ
long
Styles,
ago.
WrestleMania, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And before did he do interviews as himself?
No.
Before,
He never did interviews.
after he retired.
After he retired.
He also spoke about how it was hard for him to start to do interviews because you just don't know how to be yourself.
He's so used to being his character.
Dude, 30 years, not being yourself.
Exactly. He was one of the only guys who protected his identity up to that point.
You hear his story?
Yeah.
Like how he got into it and all. It's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah. Like that's the thing with wrestlers back then. Like the reason why they're so tough is because wrestling is always the spots to go to when things are not working out.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to be a basketball
Athlete.
player, right? And then he couldn't make the cut. So the next best thing was because it's huge, he has size. Why not try pro wrestling? So when he went to try out pro wrestling, the guys there hit him for real. Put him in submission for real, because that's just how it was back then.
It was, man.
Yeah.
They test you immediately. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, then this question, do you do that to your wrestlers, your students?
Definitely not, because I think I don't want. Number one, I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, I wanted to say that. I'm like, hey man, it's all fun and games till they've come up with
And number two is I want to instill professionality from the get go. Like this is how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to feel like. Like there was once my student, he had a match with
Another student.
with another wrestler from a different country. I don't want to mention any names because it's very specific.
So it's an experienced wrestler
Yeah. So he got beat up quite bad in the match
by that wrestler.
by a wrestler, and then when I asked him like
Did you
how
wrestle the guy after that?
I've wrestled the guy a lot of times before, so I kind of know the way he works.
So can you guess now who it is?
Oh, me? No, I
yeah.
can't.
So when I asked
It's okay, I'll do some
when I
research.
asked the student like, how was the match? Oh, it was good. It was good. Did he hit you hard? I think it was okay, but then
You can see, right?
yeah, but then I had a match with him in the next show
Who?
with my own student, just to give him the experience of how it's supposed to feel like. So after the match, then he came out to me. Is that what it's supposed to feel like in the match? Yes.
So he never wrestled you before that,
He never wrestled me before that. Like,
Okay.
only during trainings and stuff.
So you would say that you have to be wary next time when you've got a wrestle from out of town,
yeah.
a wrestler coming from out of town to wrestle with one of your students. Yeah, okay, it can happen.
Like we do hit hard. Like I personally hit hard, but I make sure that I'm very accurate in a sense where I hit you where it's
Where it's
meaty.
meaty. Yeah.
Correct. So you don't feel, it stings for a while, but it goes away very fast because it's in a meaty area. It's a meaty area. But if you get hit in a place where you're not supposed to get hit, then you have to retaliate. Because otherwise, these people will just take advantage on you.
I can't help but ask some juicy stuff lah. So, have you been like, what moment stands out to you where you've been disrespected and then you had to show them during the ring?
Quite a lot, quite a lot actually. But one of
The one that stands out the most, I guess.
one of the things that stand out the most was I was getting forearm.
What is that?
Forearm is when someone
Strike, is it?
strike you with their forearm
Yeah.
across the face. So basically,
Like just in the middle of the ring.
yeah, like in a match, they start giving you forearm and stuff. So when giving someone a forearm, you have to make sure that your forearm lands in the meaty area.
Yeah, but
Right.
they're actually trying to portray an elbow, is it?
Yes. So this guy starts elbowing me in the face, like right here in the jaw.
Elbow.
Yeah.
So, do you
yeah.
think he's doing it purposely or?
For me, before I retaliate, I would always tell them to either, like, dude, slow down, dude. I'll verbally tell them to chill, to, you're working too hard, relax,
Was he
calm
local
down, chill.
or?
He's international.
Yeah, of course.
Like, the locals are mostly trained by me, so they know
Exactly.
better, lah, basically.
I don't think anybody will want to go hard on your local.
Oh, definitely.
It's because he's a student.
He's the
Definitely.
master, man.
So he kept giving me elbows to the face, and I felt the jaw is where our knockout point is,
Yeah,
right?
when you get knocked
So every
out,
time when I get hit, I can feel rocked. Like
You get rocked.
yeah, like dude, like I'm getting headaches from each strikes, right? So I was telling him to slow down.
That's CTE, concussion.
So he didn't really slow down. He still just kept giving me that throughout the whole match. So there was one point when I'm supposed to fight back, I just gave him one back fist. That's it.
Back fist. How?
Yeah.
How's that like?
So it's a back fist like you see in Muay Thai, right? So I gave him
a spinning back fist.
Yeah, I gave him a full force spinning back fist.
My,
And he just dropped on his butt. And even after the match was over, you can see him sitting in the corner just holding his face. So
is he bigger than you?
it's bigger than me.
Shit,
Bigger
man.
than me. So-
What a bully? He's a bully, I guess.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they are bullies or they don't
It's just a
know how they're supposed to strike, or
Is he
they are not
experienced?
accurate. His experience.
Then
not sure. It
yeah,
depends.
then it's very weird already, right? Like why? I mean, you can feel yourself when you're elbowing someone, right? It's not like you can't differentiate.
But
Right.
that's the thing when it comes to pedigree. When you're learning some pedigree, meaning the person that you train with, right? So like for myself, I'm blessed enough to train with Tom Pritchard, even though in a distance, because he knows how to correct me and my students. But some of these guys, they come from a background where they're not professionally trained as well, with no proper people guiding them. So I'm not sure if it's either they have bad accuracy or maybe they don't know they're not supposed to hit there.
Or they're just a dick.
Yeah, you can't tell. But either way, you still have to protect yourself.
Can we watch? Is the back fist on?
I think there's one. I think it is online. I'll try
Okay,
to
yeah, we'll go watch later.
I got another question, which is currently your gimmick or your character, right, is one that is serious and somebody who is like, if I'm come out, I'm gonna kill you. But at the same time, wrestling is also fun when you can see a character being developed. So is there like other characters that you would like to evolve to and play?
It depends, because I think right now my character works best with the American market because of the
Yeah.
mystique that I bring to the country there.
Yeah.
Like when I
Can
came
see,
out
bro.
with the Tanja and the Jackass on kit and
Did you
everything.
do that because you were already targeting that market? Did you come out
The
with
main
that?
reason why is because I'm Eurasian, I mix Malay,
Are you?
Filipino, British, yeah.
Yeah,
But
can't tell,
I'm-
man.
but,
You're a Malay
uh,
dude to me.
But I'm proud with my Malay side, mainly because I think a lot of Malays are not proud of their ancestry. I think so.
really?
What do you
I
mean
think
the
so.
ancestry?
Yeah, I think so, because like they've lost that budaya part. But I've discovered my Malay side only in my adulthood. I started learning about the Malay culture, like the architecture, the design, the batik, the songkit, and everything. For me, I love architecture. Like even if I go to countries like Japan or Australia or USA, the first thing I see is the buildings because of how beautiful structures are. So when I learn about the Malay culture, I find that it's very lembut. It's very soft, but when it comes time to fight, they, like all the Silat warriors, right? They
Yeah.
are very lembut, but when it comes time to fight, they strike hard, kind of thing. So that was something that I wanted to portray to the Western media because it's something that they've never seen before. They've seen Vietnamese, they've seen Filipino, they've seen.
Who's a Vietnamese wrestler?
There's a lot of. Not really wrestling wise, but there's a lot of Vietnamese families there in
Oh,
the United
okay, okay.
States. So they do know of these cultures. They don't know Malaysian
I saw
culture.
your intro video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. With Silat.
So when I bring something there, it creates a sense of mystique. The adults are scared of me. It's like, who is this guy? Like, what is this? But the kids love me because I look like a superhero.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think it works right now, and they find me very unique to a point where all these companies, they are approaching me mainly because of my character.
yeah.
Yeah. Because they feel like, this is someone that we have to have in our show because we have never seen someone like him before.
So just now you were asking whether is there going to be a transformation or evolution of your character. I feel like it's still long more to go
Yeah,
with this character.
I think it's
right?
just the start. Like I just debuted this in the States last year, so I think maybe I'll give it a good 5 year before I
There's
start
this
to try and change.
there's this saying, if it's not broke,
Yeah,
if it's
don't
not
fix it.
broken, don't fix it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand where you're coming from. Like they like the mystique.
So, but if you, let's just say after 5 years later, is there a different side of your character would you like to explore? Would you want to go on the softer side?
It depends. So if I'm I'm attached to a company and the company requires me to be on a lighter note, I'll do exactly what they tell me to do, because the secret to success is impressing your employees. Don't try to fight them. Like if they tell you to do something, just do it. Then you've seen WWE and you've seen guys like Sami Zayn,
Yeah.
for example. Like he has been the clown of WWE for the past. What's his name? Sami Zayn. New Gen. So he's been given the clown character for quite some time, for about 5 years, I think. And only recently they started pushing him as a main eventer, mainly
winner.
because he has been doing exactly what the company is telling him to do without any complaints. So a lot of young wrestlers and new gen wrestlers these days, they fail to understand that aspect of the business. It's at the end of the day, it's just business. So whatever the company needs you to do and needs you to be, you just have to do it with a smile on your face. Yes, boss.
Agree.
So if like you were to give some advice to a wrestler who's been in the biz, but he's always being made out to be the loser, what how can you advise that guy if he wants to push he wants to change where his career is headed?
Okay, the very first advice I would give, most of the time, these guys are always not in shape. If you noticed. Most of the time,
they can't do as many moves as the others.
no,
They can't last that long.
not in a shape physically, as in like they don't have muscles.
Oh shit, that's the real thing. That's the main thing.
So okay, imagine this: like if you want to cast someone to be Wolverine, you can't cast someone who is out of shape. If you want to cast a character who's supposed to be a fighter, you need to get someone who looks like a fighter.
Yeah, aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. So wrestling is show business. So in order for you to convince audience that you are an actual threat, a wrestler, you need to look like an actual threat. Yes. So most of the times, these wrestlers, the ones who always lose, you can see that they're actually on the skinny side or the more on the pudgier or out of shape side.
You don't have to be in so good shape if you're if you're a freak.
You don't have to look like a bodybuilder or a fitness model. You just need to look like you can fight. That's about it.
Okay.
So that's the reason why you see guys like back then in the days we have Vader.
Yeah.
Right? His I wouldn't say he's fat because he's solid, right? But he's
Right.
huge.
Oh, sorry, who?
Vader. There's a huge- Mark Henry is.
Yeah, I know.
He's huge. You look at his shoulders.
But
Like,
the guy is strong as
Yeah,
fuck. Dude,
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
also.
yeah, he
Rikishi.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rikishi,
Rikishi, he looks like a badass, but he's not exactly the most fit.
Yeah. So these guys, by media standards, they are not fit. But if you look at them, would you dare to go and slap them in the face?
The Dudley boys
Correct,
also.
correct.
Exactly, Dudley boys. Like you wouldn't walk up to them and slap them in the face or tell them that wrestling is fake because of how scary they look.
Yeah.
So you need to look the part. So most of the time, the first advice that I would always give to these guys is just go to the gym, get some muscle on your frame.
Okay, I find it surprising that that is also what you see as one of the main reasons why one of the main things they are lacking, because you would think that these people who are into wrestling or actually they're actually training, right? That's the first thing that they would think of,
Exactly.
right?
Like, I think a lot of wrestlers these days, they enjoy the glamour side of being a wrestler, being a superstar and everything, but they don't enjoy the process that you need to do to be a wrestler. They don't enjoy training. They don't enjoy going to the gym, working out, getting in shape.
Yeah.
In the independent scene, you'll see a lot of this. But if you watch WWE, you can see everyone is in shape.
Just jack
Yeah,
off
Because because that's how the industry is. But that's the reason why they're there. If you see the independent scene, 90% of the guys are out of shape.
it's not really a secret. A lot of them are on PEDs, right? So it makes you think that the independent scene, they're not on PEDs. A lot of them is kind of like high level athletes. The highest level, a lot of them are on PEDs.
Because most likely also it's not part of their career yet.
Yes.
It's like the guys on the high level, it's part of their career.
They
their
are
look and
committed
everything.
full whole already.
So they have to take it to make them look, like a threat
Yeah.
and stuff. But you wouldn't need PEDs to look decent.
Like you are,
Yeah.
basically.
Like this is even my shape is fine. I'm small, but I'm ripped. So at least on screen I still look like a credible threat.
Okay, so you're 68 kgs now.
Mm-hmm.
What was you would say your best shape?
Best shape I would say about
'Cause
72.
yeah, I've seen you
72
bigger
kilos.
than this
Yeah,
before.
72 kilos. Definitely.
72, were you this ripped as well?
Yes.
Okay, so definitely bigger.
Yeah. So because of the injury that I had last month,
Yeah.
I lost a lot of muscle mass
Oh.
and I grew fat.
Okay.
There was a lot of fat deposit on my middle section of my body.
Okay, maybe just for some of your audience, right? How's your training regime like?
I train 6 days a week.
Mm.
6 days a week. I focus on volume training when it comes to hypertrophy. And my discipline is bodybuilding. It's just hypertrophy.
Yes.
I don't do strength. I don't do athletic because I don't want to burn out my body
So
too much.
isolation exercises.
Not really. Compounds as well. It's just that I focus more on volume
Like
and
each
full range of motion, technique. So my focus is not strength. My focus is creating stress for the muscle to grow.
Okay,
kind of thing.
bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding
It's very
discipline.
bodybuilding oriented.
And my nutrition is the same. It's very bodybuilding macro based because for me wrestling the most important is visual, the look.
Do you
that
have
present
to?
yourself.
Sorry, do you have to like your body type? Do you have to pay much attention to what you eat to look lean, or do you generally have a lean frame?
Oh no, I'm skinny fat.
Same, I'm the same.
The worst kind of genetics that you want.
I'm the same, skinny fat. I think you're probably skinny fat as well.
No, I'm just fat. I'm chubby fat.
Look, but when you were younger, were you ever skinny?
No, I'm chubby.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
I've always
okay.
been chubby. Yeah.
A lot of people are skinny fat, and that's the worst, man.
Chubby actually it's good if you're in bodybuilding
It
because
is.
you can easily put on muscle.
Yeah. But
Skinny fat is the worst because you can
It's the
put in
worst.
so much effort, but it's so difficult to put on muscle because you're skinny, and it's so difficult to get rid of your fat because you're fat. So you're stuck in between the world of being a mesomorph and
Yeah.
an endomorph.
So let's say if any of you watch Naruto.
I don't know much.
Yeah, so it's basically like you kind of learn as a skinny fat person that over time you can get the same results.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, it takes longer time
It
because
takes longer
your
time.
starting point is you're at a disadvantage already.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can get there.
I mean, after we talk about like all the things that you just uncover, you running a promoter, and then you say in the next 5 years you want to go with your gimmick. Where do you see yourself growing as a wrestler now that you're at this stage of your life?
I think it's very important for me to get back to the States because that is where the offer and the money is, right? There's no industry here in Malaysia besides of me trying to build it.
Yeah. It's just a work in progress.
Exactly. So it's very difficult to survive. But when I'm in the States, I'm properly paid, and I'm
Bro, that's your
probably
dream, man.
exactly it's
Dude,
probably
fucking go for it. If
properly
you have the opportunity.
taken care of, and there's a lot of offers on the table as well.
Yeah.
So
You work hard for
I
it.
might as well just go there and build my name more, and try to get to the big company.
Yeah.
Because that is where you get paid the most.
And not only that, let's say if your career advances over there, it will easen up the process by tenfold of building an industry here.
Oh, exactly.
Because you, for example, right, you get recognition, you know, then more funds come in because people want to support you.
Exactly.
Local companies want to sponsor as well because they see a future.
Yeah, like even that small stint with RW, right? I wouldn't say small because I
Damn.
don't think there's any other actors in Malaysia that has ever appeared on US national TV besides me. I don't think so. I
didn't know too. I don't know too, but
So even that moment, that small moment when I came back here, it helped me a lot in a sense where I'm able to get funding for APAC Wrestling, where I'm able to get a few sponsors here and there, and then ministers want to see me, so I get to voice out my troubles and everything.
and those are the people that know. So many people don't know.
exactly
Right.
yeah.
So many people don't fucking know.
So imagine if I get to be there and appear more on their TV. So sooner
You'll
or
be
later,
superstar, bro.
sooner or later, I'll be known here. That's all right.
Not only a superstar, a WWE superstar.
I think now at the moment, no Diana, right?
Yes.
She is probably on the mainstream side. I see her on advertisements. So
Oh, yes.
she herself is like is the next step.
Is she
For the
a
scene here?
disciple?
She is my student since she was 16.
Wow.
So she started wrestling with me.
Which year was that?
2000. Sorry. I wanted to sneeze. 2000. Okay, there you go. So she started training with me in 2015, actually. When she was 16 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's her energy like, or like what do you see in her
Well, she
when you first met her or when she first approached?
she surprised me, to be honest. Like, like she's very tiny.
Yeah, very.
And before, like, when she was 16, she was very skinny as well. She didn't have any muscle. And then you have a hijabi girl approach you like, Coach, can I train with you in wrestling? Obviously, I'll be like,
You don't know wrestling. You don't know wrestling.
But the thing is, I'm always the kind of guy who believe that everybody deserves a chance. Like try. So she surprised me in a sense where she was one of the few students of many students who actually came for every single training session. And even when she got hurt, she tore her back muscle once from a bad landing of a suplex, right?
Yeah.
She tore her back muscle. 3 months later, a lot of people thought she was going to quit because it was such a bad injury. 3 months later, she came back and started training again. She never gave up. So
Those are the students, the ones where they show up every day, rain or shine. There's a reason. It's like, sometimes a person might feel lost, in her life, and then they find, let's say, martial arts. Maybe for Diana, she found wrestling, and it's that place where she just can't get it out of her head, and obsessed over, and great things are happening.
And so happy and proud of her. Honestly, I personally feel that if it's not me, she will be the first Malaysian to be in the WWE.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Holy shit,
Hands
man.
down. Because her name is very huge, even on an international stage.
scene, huh?
She was even the ambassador for Fitbit USA, not Malaysia. Fitbit, the American Fitbit. Her commercial was played at the NBA playoffs. So that's how huge she is there. But here, macam biasa lah. I mean, like, people don't even know her. People don't really appreciate her talents. Sometimes, because I'm also a manager, right? So sometimes when she get in campaigns from these brands in Malaysia, like, hey, we want her to promote our stuff on her IG, blah, 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 blah. So when I give her rate, they would always think she's too expensive just because she's not a celebrity. But they have to understand that she's on a level where, number one, she's in Forbes 30 and 30. She's in Forbes magazine. It's not easy to get a Forbes magazine. And number two, she was the ambassador for Fitbit USA.
Yeah.
So her rate is definitely up there.
So, I mean, what you could do is just give them an example of her previous rates,
Exactly.
and then the company will realize like, hey, we probably just ain't got that money.
Yeah, but the attitude that I always get from them is, why should we pay her that much? Because she's not even a celebrity. That's the
crazy.
general that's the general feel that I get from these companies. You know, like, why is she so expensive? I even received that question once, like, mahalnya, like, hello, excuse me, do you know who she is?
Do you know what's history?
Do you know what she accomplished?
Do you feel that now's the right time for her to probably go for WWE, especially when there's every year they're going to Saudi Arabia?
Oh, definitely. I think sooner or later she'll be there because
Damn!
her
You
name
heard
is
it from Ayez.
her name is known even by WWE superstars. You know Charlotte?
I
Yes, of
saw,
course.
dude.
Charlotte,
I've heard
Charlotte
them.
Flair knows her
Yeah, yeah.
personally. A lot of the superstars, like even when Sheamus came down to Malaysia, he went to her to raise a hand. That's how famous she is in the wrestling community.
Because the Muslim community and fan base is also huge.
Exactly.
So they want to push. There's Muslim wrestlers, right? But girl is different, and hijab.
There's not a single hijab.
There's not a
wrestler.
single one.
She's the
Jeez.
only.
Girl Muslim wrestler don't even have, right?
Don't have,
Like
yeah.
non-hijab also don't even have, right?
Don't have.
But this one is So it's a great character, man.
And I think right now is really a good time because WWE really embraced diversity.
Yep.
So she could really be the first one.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you see someone like her entering into the doors of WWE?
Should be easy. It's just that she needs to be seen by the correct person.
She's so young,
That's it.
bro.
Yeah, she's only 22.
Hey, Triple H.
She's only 22.
Come on, man, Triple H. You know what to do.
Like
He's not gonna listen.
do you know Mustafa? Do you know Mustafa Ali?
Yes, of course.
Who's that, though?
Mustafa Ali is this Pakistani American wrestler.
Yeah.
He was just in tonight's Night of Champions for the
Yeah.
Intercontinental Championship. So before the show, he posted on Instagram. He said that Pheonix is the one that inspires him.
Snap.
Exactly. Like
Mustafa
when I
Ali.
saw the story, he's a current superstar who's fighting for the championship, and he posted a shout out video for Nur. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I've seen, dude, and you see, my first immediate reaction, or I think most people here, Malaysians, right, that see a shout out, from a WWE superstar, they would think that it's kind of an agreement. You ask them to shout out, but they are just taking note by themselves.
yeah, exactly. And because community is like you mentioned earlier, the fans we have a lot of
Massive.
fans, but the people in the industry is very
It's tight.
Yeah.
Tight knit.
Yeah.
So a lot of us know each other personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a long session already. I think we got to wrap up.
No worries,
And
no worries.
Ayez, would love to have you on again next time.
Oh,
man.
definitely. So just
Yeah.
let me know.
So show dates, no idea yet, right?
I'll be in China. I'll be wrestling in China on the 6th of June.
6th of June.
And then when I come back, I'll try to plan for a Malaysian show.
Okay. Targeted July, August.
Either end of June or end of July. Basically. August is a bit too late because the last show we had was in March. So I don't want to have too much gap because the audience will start to forget about things.
Let's do it, man.
So I'll try my best to make it.
After COVID, how many events have you put on?
Quite a
lockdowns?
lot actually. During the lockdown, I was shooting APAC Wrestling online. So we did 13
Yeah,
episodes per season, and we shot like 5 seasons, I think. And I was just pushing it online on YouTube.
It must be a real push for you because it's definitely a different experience, right?
No,
for
definitely.
Okay. Next Apex show, possibly in July, June. Okay, Ayez, I've been asking this question to my guests. Advice to 15-year-old Ayez.
Oh, advice to my own self. One of the things that I wish that I can tell my old self is that besides looking for what is closest to pro wrestling, you should have just go for it. Go for the actual thing. Because whatever that you've done throughout the years before you actually went for pro wrestling was just taking years away from what you could have achieved. Because imagine me being in my peak at 35 years old just because I started when I was 25. But if I started earlier when I was, let's say, 18, 19, even 15 exactly, like that, by the age of 20, I would have achieved something already. So I wouldn't say I wasted because whatever experience that I went through built who I am today. But if I had the opportunity to turn back time, I would have just done pro wrestling when I was in my healthiest and in my peak condition.
Yeah, the clock is ticking for everyone.
Exactly. And I'm 35 now. In pro wrestling, 35 could be old. But this Monday, tomorrow I'll be going for something special. I'll be doing a stem cell therapy. So stem cell therapy is usually what grade A athletes go through in the States.
I'm talking to a stem cell doctor probably 2 weeks time or something. Yeah, I don't know anything about it yet. I have to research, but yeah.
So if you watch Joe Rogan's podcast, you'll notice that a lot of MMA fighters and a lot of pro wrestlers, they all do stem cell
It's like a
therapy.
miracle thing, you know.
actually reverses the age of your organs and your joints and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this therapy will be able to reverse back my joints and my wear and tear to a level where I was maybe 10 years back. So I
You can peak again.
I can only imagine myself, because now I have a lot of joint pains and injuries and everything. I can only imagine with the knowledge that I have now and the skill and the experience that I have with me, but without all the wear and tear. So I really hope that it will help me. I'll keep you updated as well, since you might see a doctor for it. Yeah.
That'll be
I'll let
great,
you know
bro.
how it works.
Okay, done for the advice.
Yep.
Advice to people who want to, who aspire, young people who are your fans who want to be a wrestler, professional wrestler. They might be a Malaysian.
Right, so whether it's wrestling or not, it's very important to know that there's a lot of people with a lot of dreams, and some of these dreams might seem impossible to happen if you are in Malaysia. Like, for example, you want
A
to
lot of
be
dreams, bro.
you want to be a Hollywood movie star, but you are here in Malaysia. You want to be a
MMA
YouTuber
fighter.
who has a lot of followers from United States. You want to be an MMA fighter who makes it to UFC. You want to be a pro wrestler who makes it WWE. Whatever your dream is, no matter how huge it is actually possible. Like, I've proven to myself that I would have never thought when I was a kid that I would appear on US national TV wrestling, doing the thing that I wanted to do when I was a child. So if I can, I'm pretty sure anybody can, as long as you plan out your years way before. You just need to make sure that you have a good strategy and action plan and execute it. Don't just dream, but make sure that you execute the plan as well.
Yeah, most important is to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Inspiring words. Ayez, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Pleasure to be here.
Very, very. This is the things that I really enjoy about doing this podcast. Speaking to people who are defying the odds, right? Doing the damn thing. There's no industry at all for WWE. I thought there was, previously. Then I found out that APAC is run by Ayez himself, APAC Wrestling, and all the previous promotions before that was also run by Ayez. So it's a lot of failing forward.
Definitely. A lot of trials and error. You'll fail a lot more than you'll succeed, but that's life.
And you know what's crazy? How many times do you have to hear this same old story where people say it's impossible, and then the person persists and persevere, and then he just goes for it? How many times do anyone listening now, how many times do you have to hear that story before you actually go for it?
Exactly.
You can hear it 1,000 times, and a lot of people are still never going to go for it. So it's people like you that will inspire more people. Thanks for coming on as well, Vincent. Okay, guys, if you watch up till this point, appreciate your support. So far, if you actually invested 2 hours plus, I don't think it'll be hard for you to leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, suggestions. Who do you want to see on this podcast? What you thought about the episode? What do you think about our guests? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. And give it up for Ayez and Vincent. Let's get it.
Missing my homies, I'm missing my oldies, my brothers, my cronies. We all went to court, but before only courts that we knew were the ones where we were shooting three, selling Kobe. To a legend, rest in peace to the old me, rest in peace to my brothers, rest in peace to my whole team. The old us, I'm missing my shawty.